Good evening, comrades. So what do you think, Milena? Is it a happy Halloween in Russia or not?
Здравствуйте, товарищи! Happy Halloween! Очень счастливый Хэллоуин. Как дела?
What does that even mean?
But вы не... You don't understand Russian? What kind of a spy are you?
A shitty one. I've got to work on my accent. How you guys doing? Happy Halloween, guys. Happy Halloween. You know, when you're supposed to, I guess, I don't know, dress up. I thought for Halloween you dress like evil or you dress like... So why not? Do you know how easy it was to find this crap in Bulgaria? Do you have any idea how easy it was? And this tastes like crap. I don't know how you guys do it. Any of you smokers out there. It's awful. Honest Lascani. He says, hello, Premier von Alenovsky. I like that, von Alenovsky. Well, we got something planned for you guys tonight. The first thing I want to tell you is that we have a special guest. He will be calling here in a few minutes when I give him the word. We started a little late tonight. I want to apologize for that. But yeah, Dennis, that's all I could get my hands on. But we have a guest calling in tonight. It's a gentleman by the name of Dwayne. I've known him since I was a kid. He's a big football fan, and he's really good at making football picks, and I just thought that he might help us out. So look forward to that coming up soon. But also, and for seriously, what I want to tell you guys about is that I have finally invented a way to determine a quarterback's value in the league and how he's playing from a week-to-week basis with an overall score by inputting statistics that are applied to not only him, but the things that are happening around him. And you're probably wondering, okay, well, how's that any different than, passer rating or QBR or any other crap like that? Well, two things. First, the number one problem with the scores that we use and the determinations that we make based off of these skewed, weird, bizarre, average statistics, they're always wrong. And what happens is, more times than not, guys, when you get a top 10, okay, when you look at top 10 passer rating, for example, well, the top 10 passer rating, if you go by that, it should tell you some random dude is in the top 10, like Ryan Fitzpatrick, for example. Would anyone say that he is in the top 5 for the quarterback MVP race? No, none of us would say that. None of us would say that. So why is he in the top 5? Why would he show up there? Because passer rating doesn't exactly cover everything. In fact, it only covers a few things. It just accounts for yards and completions, interceptions, touchdown passes, but that's really it. And how many attempts it took you to do that, right? That tells us nothing. Okay? That could be any guy getting a bunch of bulk stats. And then you've got QBR. And QBR is something that is invented by ESPN. Speaking of commies, the commies over at ESPN invented QBR. And QBR is their attempt at trying to do what I'm talking about, which is quantify how good a player is playing and how valuable he is at the time. Well, the problem with them is that their bias is kicked in. They're biased for a certain type of quarterback. They're biased for a certain type of player, a certain style. They attempted to assign value to certain things, and but they added things in there that didn't make much sense. And they lean heavy towards what I would consider the college game. Okay, the college game. Sorry, but it's not NFL. It's not the same. A quarterback's value in college is not the same as a quarterback's value in the NFL. It's a different style. It's why Tim Tebow can be the greatest college quarterback of all time. But when he came to the NFL, he's complete garbage. Straight up garbage, right? So, the QBR is messed up as well. And I got tired of this. So what I wanted, and I started this last summer, and what I wanted is a number that we could produce that gives us a list that all humans go, that's close. That's pretty good. Okay? Because how many times these numbers, they produce these weird lists and you get random people on there. Like, how the hell did this guy get on here? He's not. But no, I found a way to make the numbers, what the actual quarterbacks are doing on the field, okay, and what's happening around them. I've found a way to make that actually work. And it completely removed human bias based on, did the quarterback have a big week? Or, did this quarterback have a bigger fan base? Because you got guys like Skip, right, who is pro Brady no matter what. But then he's anti Aaron Rodgers. And then you got Shannon, who is anti Brady and pro Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, right? So any given week, they'll pick and choose how they want to present their argument. Well, Brady is top whatever in big throws. And then Shannon says, well, but Aaron Rodgers his stats are very efficient, right? But neither of those things tell us really anything. It does not tell us it tells us, it doesn't tell us anything with context. And context is the whole point. And the reason why us as people, we can come up with a list, even without looking at stats, we can come up with a list that we all more or less agree on the basic top 10 guys. And the reason we can do that is because our minds, based on what we've watched and what we've seen, and we can produce a logical, realistic, real-world list that numbers can't provide until now. And once these are locked in, these parameters are locked in, so every week that these quarterbacks do these things, we just put the numbers in, and it tells us exactly who is the best, who is the most valuable quarterback for each team, and how they are doing compared to their peers. The reason I've been working on it for so long is because you have no idea how hard it is to produce a list made up of parameters that don't produce some anomalies, some kind of weird thing, like I was saying about Ryan Fitzpatrick being in the top 5 or Deshaun Watson in the top QBR, even though he's leading a 1 in 5, 1 in 16, whatever they are. Okay, well, that's ludicrous. How in the world could Deshaun Watson be considered in the top 10 for MVP, for quarterback MVP, when he's on a team that only got 1 win? See, it doesn't make sense. But those statistics would tell you he is top 10. But we as people, we know that's not true. We know it's not a fact. But to find this balance, so I had to. Now, of course, there are biases in the beginning, but the only bias is my decision making based on what I think is important. What is the most important of each type of stat? But that really, I wouldn't even say that that's bias. That was really more of trial and error. It was me, either giving one statistic a little more points or a little less. And I found that going almost, some stats will be assigned value that is 1/100th of a point difference. Okay? That small, that precise. And I found that was the key in getting the right balance. And I'm so pleased. And I meant to have this done, and I thought I would have it done before the season started, but again, I was having problems, and I'm not going to unveil anything that I think's got flaws in it. So I kept doing it. Milena, she knows that I've been working on this since last summer, and I complain to her, and I bring it to her and show it to her. It's like, what is wrong? What am I missing here? Why is so many anomalies popping up with random quarterbacks who don't deserve? Why is this happening? And after more and more and more and more, I finally got it, guys. I finally got it. Now, when I present this to you, I will explain the stats that we use and the values that I've determined are important, the things that matter to determining how good a quarterback is and how well he's playing and how important he is. But I'm not sure I want to publicly release the actual number value that I assign to those, because we know for a fact that those other shows like on the ESPN and on FS1 and stuff, they scan the YouTube and they steal from all of us independent sports people. I'm constantly seeing stuff that we started doing, and then they introduce a segment. So I believe that they will steal it because I believe it is that effective. I've got to figure out how to. I don't know if you can copyright something like that, but there's got to be a way to publish it so I can say I was the first to introduce it. That way, if they adopt it or somebody adopts it, like if say ESPN wants to promote it or the NFL themselves want to adopt it, eventually I will be able to say that it's a Von Allen Sports MVQ, which is most valuable quarterback. So once I find a way to publish it, then I can let everyone know what the parameters are and the exact formula, and I'll be happy to do that. But until then, I can still show you guys what I went into it and what I thought was important. When I came up with the final list for this, it's based off of the last week's games. It does not include Matt Ryan and Teddy Bridgewater's game from Thursday night. But when I came up with the top 32, so I did what it does is it produces one quarterback per team. And it does not select a quarterback that has played in less than 70% of the most games that any quarterback has played. The reason for this is because it's ridiculous for a quarterback who's only played 2 or 3 games to make a list. It's just a waste of time. So whichever quarterback on that team has the most, he will get the nod. But every team has to have a quarterback on the list. But when I saw this come up and I saw the top 10, I was like, this is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. This list is legit. I was like, this is actually legit. And so then I just, for fun, I tried to run the numbers based on last season. And then the year before that and the year before that. And it came up with exactly what we believe were the best quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson got the nod last year. Russell Wilson came up. The year before that was clearly Mahomes and some other guys that were in the top 5, top 10-ish. But it came up with the right results each time, and that's when I knew I had something. I was like, this is awesome. What's even more awesome about this is that not only can we use it for the MVP as a fluid statistics. So each week it'll evolve as the season goes. But it can be applied to crossing eras. So with just there's some slight adjustments, but with the slight adjustments, the formula can be used to say, okay, Joe Montana versus Tom Brady. It can take account for the era difference, because everyone says, oh well, the problem with passer rating and QBR for trying to judge Terry Bradshaw versus Peyton Manning. Okay, the reason QBR and passer rating would be terrible for that is because as the years have gone by, guys are throwing for more yards and more touchdowns and more completions, right? So obviously, a guy from the 70s has no chance to compete. He doesn't have it. It's not fair. Okay, so how would you do that? That's when you adjust for point value and you adjust the parameters of each subject matter, right? I really think this is big. I really think that we have something here, and I'm really happy about it. But that's the first thing I wanted to tell you guys. But like I said before, happy Halloween. We're just having a little fun. We thought messing around with you guys a little bit, dressing up as Soviet soldiers. So, but I would love for people to start using this, the Von Allen Sports VAS MVQ, most valuable quarterback, and I would love it because it's useful. It tells us the truth. It takes the cold, calculated, robotic, the way numbers produce this kind of thing, but it adds the human element. It adds the understanding of how good he's playing, and it's just, I can't wait to show everything to you guys. But okay, but we'll get there. All right. But other than that, how's everyone doing tonight? You guys doing good? I know it's Halloween, so I didn't expect a whole lot of people, but I'm glad to see there's 32 on tonight. As you guys know, the Patriots game will be tomorrow, and they're playing the Buffalo Bills. But Monday night is the Brady game, so we will have two different post-game shows. So you will see me and Shaq both tomorrow after the Pats game, and then Monday night after the Brady's game. So, and I saw, I see Skip Bayless and Milena. You watch Undisputed way more than I do. But one thing that we see about them, and one thing that is completely obnoxious, okay, is the way they sit there and cherry pick numbers and stat columns. Well, he's got the most in yards. Well, he's got the most in QBR, blah, 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 It's so stupid, and you're just thinking, my God, these guys are completely missing the point, which is context. What is the context of those? Who were they playing? How tough was the defense? How good is their own defense? What are the players around them? How efficient are these guys? How many yards is the ball traveling through the air versus how many yards are yards after the catch, which is produced by the player that you throw it to? All of these things are important because if you don't have context, you're going to be deceived. And I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is in the top 2 or 3 of yards after the catch. So over 900 of his yards, he's got around 1,900, I think, something like that. But the point is, around 900 of those or so yards is yards after the catch. And that means that when he throws the ball for 2 yards or 3 yards, right, and then his guy takes off with it forever. Now, I'm not knocking him. I'm just trying to get to a point here. Then you've got Tom Brady, who is the exact opposite. The majority of his yards are air yards. But if you look at yards total, it looks like they're the same, right? It looks like, a yard's a yard, right? But how does that help us with how good the quarterback is throwing? How far is he throwing? How much of the game is he making it easier for his receivers? And actually that's probably not the right way to say it. What I really mean to say is, how much is the quarterback involved in the play? Okay, how much of it is his responsibility? And if we just looked at total yards, it wouldn't tell us that, would it? But if we added context, then it would matter. And that would produce a result that's a lot more human. A lot more of, like, we would say, okay, that makes sense. That fits. Okay? Because after all, we know if we look at the numbers, then Dan Marino is the greatest quarterback of all time. Drew Brees is the greatest, Peyton Manning, take your pick, right? If we're talking about numbers, and if we want to cherry pick that way, but no, when you add context, then guess who rises to the top? Montana, Brady, okay? The guys with rings. And because their stats also come with the wins and the victory and how they applied that. That is, how you get a really, really good, positive result. So, do we have a first super chat of the night?
Yeah, we have two so far.
Oh, did I miss one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Look.
Oh, actually, I'll go backwards. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we have a $2 super chat from Luke, and he says, do you have an opinion on the book The Dynasty? I have not read it yet. But to be quite honest with you, I was a little scarred from the Bill Belichick book that came out a few years back. Remember that book, I was reading?
Yeah.
And do you remember my biggest complaint was so many unnamed sources? Okay? So how many times did this guy say tell the story about Brady, or about a problem between Brady and Belichick, but it would have no sources, completely unnamed?
Some sources say close to the blah blah say, like not really anything factual or believe. Not
right. And
specific.
that kind of scarred me now, because it takes about a week of if you do it every day, about a week to read a book that big. And so that's a lot of time dedicated to the book. And as I kept reading, I was like, my God, this guy, it was just clippings of, basically he would take verbatim, all right, the words from one of the Patriots documentaries that we all have watched. And I'm like, anybody could have done that. Any fan could have just collected that. Okay, so it was like you didn't really write anything. Nothing in the book was actually words or interviews from investigative journalism or anything like that, or like an author would try to interview people and get to them and get new info or get unique info. And he didn't do that. It was just like a collection of bullcrap. But then he goes on ESPN and tells everybody that he's got the story on Brady and Belichick and what happened with the Super Bowl and the Eagles Super Bowl and stuff. And it was all nothing but crap that we've heard before on ESPN and from a bunch of other idiots. Okay? It was all the same crap. But the point is that now that I know that exists, I'm very, very skeptical of devoting so much time to reading a book like that. To be quite honest with you, I think that the best we're going to get is we need to look forward to when Belichick retires and he will write his own book. And I bet you money it will be like the Bill Walsh book. It won't just be stories and things like that, but it would be how he did what he did, almost like an instruction manual. Okay, I think he's going to go the way of Bill Walsh the book you guys all know about. And then Brady, when Brady retires, I'm sure Brady probably won't write a book. He'll probably do a documentary because I know he got into the business of doing documentaries. So that's what I think. But I think really if we're ever going to get any kind of honest opinion or honest insight, someone from the inside is going to have to tell these stories because I do not trust any journalist anymore. But, okay, that was probably way too much regarding that. But Tyree Vaughn, $5 super chat. He says, can't wait for this list, man. I've been excited to learn about this. Von Allen Sports, let's go. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. You have no idea how happy I am. I ran into the room the other night and I said, Milena, I've got it. I did it. She's like, what? I said, I did it. I quantified quarterback MVP. I did it. I felt like freaking, Oppenheimer finishing the Manhattan Project. I was like, oh my God, Okay, maybe I'm overhyping it a little bit, but you just have no idea how long it took me, how much work, and I really got down, guys. I really got depressed sometimes because I thought it couldn't be done. I started to believe that it couldn't be done. So many errors, so many anomalies pop up no matter what I did. I'd tweak something here, tweak something there, and then it just dawned on me about a week ago. I said, I'm going to get back into it and see what I can do because I had this epiphany. What if I went into smaller numbers? What if the movements were within 10 to 100ths of a point? Then would that make the difference? Would that actually give the human element to it instead of moving numbers around that jump leaps and bounds that don't have context? And it freaking worked. It worked. I'm so happy. Pedro says, awesome. I'm glad to hear that, comrade. Ever since I've arrived in Bulgaria, I've been able to work on my accent just a bit, So, thank you so much, guys, for the super chats. Now, Shaq, thank you, man. Appreciate it. For the motherland. So, like I said, we have a guest tonight. And I don't know if he's on standby right now or not, but yeah, it looks like he's ready. Actually, he's been ready for 10 minutes.
Hey, where's the Soviet music? We have someone asking. We have another super chat.
Okay. Jason, give me one. Let's see. I'll take calls in the post-game show, guys. Okay, let's see. We have a super chat.
Yeah.
Okay, John Thomas Chavez, $2 super chat. He says, digging the costumes, but where's the Soviet music? Well, I was going to do that, but I noticed because we have a little trouble with our microphones sometimes, it's hard to hear, and I thought the music would just make it more difficult and more chaotic, and so I just decided not to do that. I mean, I really wanted to commit to this, but I think we've done a pretty good job, though. So let me get my headphones on here. Okay. All right. Now. Okay, so our guest is coming up. His name's Dwayne. He's from West Virginia. This dude's crazy. Okay, so Dwayne, if you're ready, we're ready for you. So you can call on Tyrone. If any of you guys know what movie that's from, you're pretty awesome. No Jets outfit, Shaq. The stuff I ordered won't make it until next Saturday, so I will be wearing that next Saturday. Okay, here we go. Dwayne, how you doing, man?
What's going on, guys?
How are you?
Hey, I'm just getting done with the workout.
Well, what is that in your hand?
I'm just strengthening up my grit so I can snap some commie necks.
Commie necks. I don't understand. What's he talking about? Are we communists? Well, she might be.
I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Straight away, I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. So, the last time I saw you, we were at an Arizona Cardinals game. Do you remember that?
I remember that. What, you think I'm stupid or something?
Is that supposed to be a bad thing?
A little, but we were at a Arizona Cardinals game, and we tried to play football in the parking lot, and you kept acting like you were the Heisman Trophy winner, and you did it even when no one was around you.
I was the Heisman Trophy winner. I won the damn trophy.
What, the Heisman Trophy of Hillbillies?
No. I won the Heisman Trophy of the Mountain Football League.
The fuck is the Mountain Football League?
Yeah, I used to play for the Wheeling Warriors.
The Wheeling?
I played for the Wheeling Warriors.
What is that?
The NFL.
What kind of football is that?
The best football league in the country. It's the best football league in the country.
It ain't better than the football we got here in well, I guess you'd call it soccer, but we call it football with an F. F-U-T-B-O-L.
You commies, man. You commies.
Yeah, well, whatever. So I told everybody that you were going to call and make some football picks for this Sunday. I told them that you told me that you were really good at this, and you had a way of knowing the winner every single time. So if people were betting money or something, that they would be wise to follow you. Is that true?
I know a little bit about it.
Okay.
What do you want to know?
I want to know, Dwayne, when was the last time you washed your hair?
I don't know. When was the last time I went fishing? I fell out the boat. My hair got wet, so I was good to go for a couple of days anyway. So, is that fine with you?
Yeah. So you live in West Virginia, isn't that?
I just find it kind of fun. I just kind of find it kind of funny that you guys are supposed to be all so smart and stuff, and you asking me how my hair's been washed. You can tell by looking at it. It ain't got no dirt in it, right? You can tell by looking at it. I just find it funny that y'all just so stupid, and y'all think I'm stupid.
I don't think you're stupid, Dwayne. I do think you're.
All right. I'm gonna try not to keep laughing at y'all because I don't want to be rude or anything like that. I wouldn't grow it up to be that way, to be rude and laughing at people. But damn, you guys make it so easy for me. All right, so let's get this football going.
Okay, calm down, Dwayne. All right. So, what's your first pick for tomorrow?
Oh man, tell me who you got. Tell me what teams you want to know about.
Okay. Well, let's start off the bat. New England Patriots versus Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills. All right, so you got the Buffalo Bills and you got the Patriots. You got one team that's choking like shit right now, and you got another team that chokes every damn time they go to the playoffs for the last 30 years. Which one do you think is going to lose?
Um, are
Which
you
one's
asking
going to
me
lose?
for seriously, or
No,
you're
I'm
the
kidding around. I'm kidding
okay,
around.
okay.
Which one? It's obvious which one's going to lose tomorrow. It's not the playoffs yet, so the Patriots got to lose tomorrow. The Bills only lose when it comes to the playoffs.
Oh, so you think the Bills are going to win?
Well, I mean, you got the Patriots. They look like shit right now, to be honest with you. I mean, I like the Patriots and everything, but damn, you can only take so much. You can only support. You can only think they're going to win so much. But I'll give it to them. I think they'll come back when everybody gets all that COVID shit out of their system up in Foxborough. And I think they'll come back and pull it all out in the end and come to the playoffs. And then they'll get their revenge on the Bills. And then the Bills will do what they normally do, which is choke the shit out of the playoffs like they always do.
Foxborough? Okay. Is that what it's called? I thought it was called Foxborough. I didn't realize, but
You city people, y'all don't know shit, man. Y'all act like y'all know Foxborough, Foxborough, Foxborough.
well,
What's the next team you
at
got?
least I know how to pronounce it.
That's
Okay,
good.
we have the Tennessee Titans at the Cincinnati Bengals. Who you got?
Oh man, let me think about this here. Let me see, we got Steve McNair versus Boomer Esiason. That's a tough one. I
Dude,
probably have to go with the Bengals only because they got the spirit of the tiger going on. And the Tennessee Titans, I mean, that's a myth. Titans are a myth. That's like one of those Grease myths. So they're not even real. I don't know how they can even play, but I do know that Tigers are pretty strong, and they wear like the Tiger uniform. So I think the Bengals are gonna. I think they're gonna pull it out. Yeah.
what the fuck? Dude, Boomer Esiason hasn't played for the Bengals since the 80s. And Steve McNair's dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know where this is going now. I know this is going. Y'all's trying to trick me, trying to make me think that things aren't what they seem, so that way I get all confused and all my picks get off, and then y'all don't have to worry about losing your bets, blaming them all on me. I'm sticking with my picks.
So what, do you think Ronald Reagan is running for president?
No, Ronald Reagan's not president at all, man. He's been out for at least 2 years.
Jesus
I think we
Christ.
should.
So you seriously are picking the Cincinnati Bengals to defeat the 5-1 Titans?
That all depends on what division you're in, what your past record is, who you've been playing, how many people on your team have COVID. I mean, if all the Tennessee team has COVID in the locker room, and you got the coaches with COVID, and then you got the Bengals who they're all healed up, and all they got is like maybe a little cough left over or something, they'll be in better shape this Sunday.
Well,
I
I
believe
have to
it.
say, I'm thoroughly impressed that you're aware that the Titans had COVID problems recently, considering that you think Steve McNair is still the quarterback of the Titans. But okay, that's fine.
Steve
All right.
McNair, he was just MVP. He just won. Like just a few years back, he won the Super Bowl.
A few years back, dude, no, he's never won the Super Bowl, but he was MVP
I
in
know, I know. I'm
2003.
trying to give him some credit because he got beat by Kurt Warner, but I just wanted to give him some credit.
Well,
I
I
don't
have
want
to
to
hand
take
it
him
to
from
you.
my
You're very sharp when it comes to knowing what these guys who they are. You're having a problem, it seems like, with the date and what year. So okay. How about the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders now, at the Cleveland Browns?
Cleveland Browns and the Raiders. Got two crappy teams, and only one of them is doing all right. Actually, I think they both might be doing all right now. Let me think about this. I know the Raiders started coming back after what's his name left them, that Brown guy, and then you got the Browns who they got that best quarterback in the league right now. What's his name? Colt McCoy. Is that him? The Texas boy, Colt McCoy. Yeah, they got him,
Colt
and
McCoy.
that's kind of like my hometown team because they're close by. So I'll have to probably go with the Browns on that one. Yeah, because a lot of our players from the Wheeling Warriors, we took the players from the Browns because the people that were on the Browns, they weren't playing NFL anymore. So they came to the Wheeling Warriors in the Mountain Football League, and that's how our league kind of we kind of take some of the players that the NFL don't want, or the ones they can't play because they're always suspended because they're always doing something bad. But I think that the Cleveland Browns are going to win that one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like the pick. I just have some bad news. Colt McCoy won't be playing for the Cleveland Browns. But that's fine. Okay. All right. So we'll take that.
I figured that he would have come back, or they would have gotten him back, or he would have started or something because, he was all like hot shit coming out of Texas and stuff, and those boys always find some way to be resilient. They always end up coming back somehow. They always go, you think they're down, they come right back up. And I thought he might be one of those guys. I know he's only 5'11" or some shit like that, but, you never know about these guys. Look at Doug Flutie. He was 4'10" or something, right? He came back. Doug Flutie, man. You know Doug Flutie. He came back.
Doug
he was
Flutie.
Like 4'10".
Yeah, he's like, probably 5'1".
Something like that.
Okay.
He came back after being knocked down.
Well, I think the Raiders are a better team than their 3-3 record indicates, but I like the Browns for that, and I know Addie will be happy. Okay, we have the Indianapolis Colts. I'm sure you'd like that, right? You probably have a gun called a Colt, right? I bet you have a Colt, don't you?
I ain't got a Colt. No,
you ain't got a Colt. Okay. No. Indianapolis Colts at Detroit Lions.
Is this going to be a Thanksgiving game? The only time the Lions are on TV
no.
is when
Thanksgiving
they're
is
playing
in
on
the last Thursday of the month of November, dude. You're in the wrong month. Well, actually, you're in the right.
I'm a little bit confused because I've only seen the Lions play one time a year on TV, and that's on Thanksgiving. Other than that, I never see their shit on TV at all, ever.
Well, that's what you see is their shit on TV because that's what they produce. That's all they ever produce.
Got the Colts and the Lions.
You probably like the Colts quarterback.
I'm gonna have to go with Baltimore on that one.
Baltimore. Jesus Christ, dude. The Colts haven't played in Baltimore since before I was born.
The Baltimore Colts. That's the Baltimore Colts.
No, Indianapolis Colts. Idiot. Jesus. All right.
Is that where that big tall dude with the huge head throws the football in the stadium all the time?
Yes, Peyton Manning. Exactly.
Okay. Now I got to tell you something about that guy. That Peyton guy, he throws the hardest football I've ever seen in my life. That guy launches that thing like a damn rocket, and he breaks people's hands. You ever seen that guy throw that ball?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
He does this little shuffle with his feet, and then he like releases that ball like in a third of a second, like just like that. Fastest release I've ever seen on a football quarterback.
Yeah, he did have a fast release. He does move his feet really quickly. But I'd probably argue that Brett Favre probably throws it harder than Peyton. But yeah.
The only thing I don't get is why does Peyton Manning always think he's playing in Omaha all the time? He always thinks he's playing in Omaha, calling out his team. I don't get that. I don't even got a team. Like, why does he do it? It's probably because he's from Mississippi. If he was from West Virginia, maybe he'd know the difference between Omaha and Indianapolis and Baltimore. But he's from Mississippi, so I'll give him a pass on that.
Okay, again, you're confused. Brett Favre is from Mississippi. Peyton Manning is from Louisiana. But it's true that Peyton Manning does yell Omaha constantly. As we know, Milena likes to mimic him. And she kept asking me, why the hell does this guy... This is when she first started learning about football. She said, why the hell does that guy keep yelling Omaha? What's his obsession with Omaha? And that's... I can't remember exactly when Peyton started saying that crap, but yeah. All right, so you've got the Colts. Is that correct?
I'm taking Baltimore. Yes, I am. That's my final word.
Okay, well, so far I agree with you except for your Bengals-Titans. That one's very confusing, but we'll get back to that. Okay, so we have the Minnesota Vikings at Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. Who you got?
Oh, gee, you got the Dikers, the Dikings, and the. Oh man, let me see here. The Minnesota Dikings. Are those a bunch of chicks?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna have to probably go with Green Bay only because Minnesota's governor is such a cuck. I don't think he can have a football team that could win. Is that funny to you? Is that funny to you?
Yes.
All right.
Because I don't understand what that has to do with how the Vikings are going to play.
Well,
Okay. So you're going with Green Bay, correct?
I'm going with Reggie White, Sterling Sharp, and Brett Favre.
All right. Should I keep correcting him, or just let it go? I mean, because
Why you got? I thought these are just picks. So how could I be? How could you correct me when I hadn't even played the game yet? How you going to correct me on my picks when I ain't even playing the game yet?
because Brett Favre doesn't play for the Packers, he's retired. Sterling Sharp retired in the 90s because he got injured, and Reggie White is dead. Why do you?
You just trying to act like you're all cosmopolitan. You're up on all the new players. You're up on all the new draft picks. You're up on all the new players and the new teams and all this stuff. Just don't. You don't have to act like you know everything. You know the future. Just go ahead and just, let it go, man. Just let it go and let the players play. That's all you got to do.
The hell does that even mean? Whatever, dude. You're very more hostile than I remember, Dwayne. Okay.
Actually, I'm trying not to laugh at you right now. That's what I'm trying not to do because this is just the stupidest thing ever. Every time I say a player, every time I say a team, you always got some kind of back talk coming back at me. It's like, don't start nothing, there won't be none.
Well, I told my viewers, okay, they count on me to bring them good information. They count on me to give them credible information and to bring on guests that know what they're talking about. And I told them that I was going to bring on a guy who was going to help them make money, okay? And apparently, I brought on a guy that is thinking that it's the 1990s or 2000s. So I'm very confused. But
So you think that I'm making bad picks, but you just said a minute ago you agree with all my picks except one.
Yeah, that was the ironic part of it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I got paid to come here and do.
Got paid?
Excuse me? I'm not going to cash my check until next week, so I'll wait until the show's over. How else do you think I pay my rent on this mansion I live in? How else do you think I'm going to pay this rent if I don't get paid for doing my picks? I'm making people a lot of money here. I'm making you a lot of money. I'm making all these people money because they're going to go on DraftKings or whatever those sites are and Golden Palace and stuff, and they're going to make all this money. And I got to get paid for my work. I got to get paid for me helping people to win money. That's what I do.
Did someone tell him he's getting paid?
Did you pay him?
No. All right. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that later then, Dwayne. Okay, so here we go. The 0-7 New York Jets. Okay, now people are saying that they're tanking maybe to get the number 1 draft pick next year, which is Trevor Lawrence, kid named Trevor Lawrence, who was probably born after all those guys retired that you're talking about. But anyway, it's the Jets at the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 6-1 right now. Who do you got?
Oh man, let me think about this here. Okay, so we got Joe Namath and we got Joe Montana. The Battle of the Joes. Joe Montana, Joe Namath. Montana. Let me think about this for a second. Don't rush me. Don't rush me into this. It's gonna be a good pick here. Let's see. Keyshawn Johnson versus Larry Johnson. So we got Joe versus Joe and Johnson versus Johnson. Let me think here. Probably going to have to go with the Chiefs.
Good.
Take your time.
I agree. All right. How about
The only reason why I say Joe Montana is going to beat Joe Namath in that game is because I know Patrick Mahomes ain't got it what it takes to win that game against the Jets, so they're going to have to play Montana instead.
If the Jets somehow beat the Chiefs, that would be the funniest thing. What do you guys think? If the Jets pull that off, could you imagine? All right? Imagine the kind of crap that I am going to raise, the hell I'm going to raise, if Patrick Mahomes loses to the Jets tomorrow. Okay? Wouldn't that be amazing? That would just be freaking amazing. And by the way,
Patrick Mahomes, they will lose to the Jets tomorrow.
All right.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. All right. For those of you guys who are just logging in, this is Dwayne. I brought him on as an expert to make picks, but I'm not so sure. I think we might have gotten deceived here.
How many picks have I done so far? I'm not talking about picks on the field. I'm talking about how many picks have I done so far?
Well,
8 or 9?
Okay, they've been quite reasonable actually. How about this?
Only one, Mr. Football Pro, Mr. Calming Football Pro don't agree with, right? Only one. How am I not doing my job right?
Okay, how about this one? The LA Rams at the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins are going to be starting Tua Tagovailoa, or however the hell you say his last name. Their first round draft pick from this year. They benched Ryan Fitzpatrick, even though Ryan has actually been playing reasonably well. So there's kind of some controversy there about whether they're starting him too soon. But anyway, the LA Rams are coming off a big win, and they're 5-2. But it's in Miami, so what do you think?
Well, I don't think Miami sucks as bad as people are saying they do. I mean, you got on the one hand with the Rams, you have Kurt Warner and Eric Dickerson, and then with Miami you got Bart Duper and Dan Marino. But I don't know. I just think that is that Jared Goff guy still playing, or is he retired from long ago?
Oh, Jared Goff, he's still starting for the Rams, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. He's still starting after all these years? He's not done? I thought Kurt Warner took his... Okay, never mind. I ain't going to go there. All right, let me think here. I'm going to go with Miami on that one.
That would be a big deal. If Miami can get that victory and Tua starts... if that's his first start and he gets a big win against the Rams, that would be a great way to start his career. All right, so we have this is a big one. The New Orleans Saints at Chicago Bears. The Bears are 5-2. Saints are 4-2. They seem kind of a strange team. I can't figure them out yet. But the Bears, I think they're over. I think they're succeeding over what anyone expected. But it isn't.
The Bears are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were. The Bears are.
I knew that was coming. My God, I shouldn't have said that. All right. Actually, Dwayne, you were with me at the real game, when Dennis Green made that speech. Do you remember? We were watching it on the big Titantron after the game.
I remember that very well. I ain't stupid.
All right.
I do remember, though. I do remember. I was there.
So we have a Saints team that is a dome team. They play in a dome, and everyone says Drew Brees is a dome quarterback. But he's going into Chicago. It's going to be cold. I don't know how cold it's going to be, but it still sucks. Who do you got?
Well, it's not going to come down to the quarterback for me. It's going to come down to the other players, like the guys that are running the ball on the field. Guys like Reggie Bush, Walter Payton, those types of guys.
Sure.
I just don't think Drew Brees got the cojones to play in the hard weather. I mean, he can't even set it straight whether he likes veterans or not. How is he supposed to know if he wants to go to Chicago and win outdoors? I just don't think he's got what it takes. He ain't got the nuts to play in Chicago and beat the Bears. I think the Bears are going to win. Straight up.
All right. I know a guy who will be very happy about that pick. Okay. So, we have another great matchup. This is the San Francisco 49ers, 4-3 at Seattle Seahawks. Excuse me. Seattle Seahawks, led by Russell Wilson, who's I think is the favorite for MVP right now, and they're 5-1. The 49ers just came off of completely annihilating my Patriots last Sunday, so I'm still kind of licking my wounds from that. In fact, I lost a bet. So now, because the 49ers beat the Patriots, I've got to wear Jets memorabilia or whatever, Jets jersey next Saturday. So I'm really, really pissy about that. But we got San Francisco at Seattle. Who you got?
Well, I just don't know. I can't really root for a team called the 69ers. I just don't know. I mean, maybe I could, but let me think here. San Francisco 69ers against the Seattle Seahawks. Let me think here. Steve Largent versus Jerry Rice. Well, that's going to be a good receiving battle, if you ask me. But, you know, Seattle got that fancy quarterback that you're talking about and all that.
Russell Wilson.
Their defense is shit. I mean, their defense is straight shit this year.
It is. It's awful.
I don't know. I think here's what it comes down to for me. Okay, this is what it comes down to. It boils down to this right here. It comes down to the Seattle. Are they playing in Seattle?
Yeah, it's in Seattle.
Okay, so this makes all the difference right here. It comes down to if their DJ guy in the stadium gets COVID or not. If he doesn't get COVID and he's healthy, then the Seahawks will win. But if he gets COVID and he's all out of whack, he may forget to push that extra crowd button that makes all the crowd come through the speakers. So the Seahawks may not have that noise that they like to talk about and brag about with the audience, the fake audience, with all the crowd pumping through the speakers.
Yes.
I think it's going to come down to the DJ. But
the DJ. So you think it's a DJ? I mean, where did they get him? Did he come from a club? Or something?
It's the guy that does the music for the stadium. When the Seahawks are playing, he pumps the applause real loud, the crowd cheering through the speakers, so it sounds like they're louder than what they are. And that kind of like a home team advantage. But I'm going to have to go with the 69ers on this one.
So the 69ers. So you're going with the 69ers over Seattle?
I'm going with Jimmy G.
That's a big pick. That's I would say Seattle's defense. You hit that right on the head. They're atrocious. They're not Cowboys defense bad, but they are shit. I would agree. I'm going to say that Seattle wins that one, but I won't be surprised if it goes either way or if
so you
end
think
up
the
being right.
DJ is going to be okay? You don't think he's going to be sick?
No. I'm sure the DJ will be fine. He'll be ready to go.
Are we ready to hit that crowd noise button?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be blasting it more than usual this year. All right, so we have oh God, this is a horrible matchup, and you know what? The NFL should just cancel this game, but we know they won't. The Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams are complete garbage, but here's the problem. This game, the Cowboys are 2-5, the Eagles are 2-4-1. And this is a battle for the first place position in their division in NFC West. 2-5 and 2-4-1, and the winner of this atrocious game will take the lead in the division. Who you got?
You know, it's a tough one. They're rivals. They fight each other every year. It's a big game between Dallas and Philadelphia. Every year it's a big game. I just think it's going to come down to whose quarterback can sneak the best. I mean, is it going to be Randall Cunningham or is it going to be Bones Prescott? I don't know.
Bones Prescott. Ain't that kind of harsh? The dude.
Isn't that his name? That's his name, right?
No, his name's Dak.
Oh,
You
that
you
broken bones, same. I think exactly.
you
All
make
right,
it
let me think here for a second.
too soon, dude. Too soon.
I'm probably gonna have to go with the Cowboys on this one, and there's a reason why I say that.
Because they're
Because
from Texas.
no, because Jerry Jones. Actually, Jerry Jones put out the most genius thing he ever did. He ran out of quarterbacks. He don't have any. He got nobody. I mean, he don't even have anybody as good as Tony Homo anymore. But I'll tell you this right now. He put out a thing, an announcement asking for a quarterback, anybody or any players that has a jersey, they live in the area, and if they can come out to practice and be there at 9 a.m., then they could play in the game. And there's a lot of guys out there, a lot of guys who won 2A regional championships and stuff, and they can go out there and put on the show. I think that Philadelphia, they suck and they ain't admitting it. But Jerry Jones admits it. He admits it that he needs help. And that's the first step to success, is admitting you need help. And I think that's what's going to be the difference maker.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, but we'll say the Cowboys win. And I noticed in the comment section, Dwayne, you're getting a lot of support. People are saying Keith Byers versus Emmitt Smith, McNabb versus Quincy Carter, Reggie White versus Charles Haley, Buddy
Emmitt
Ryan
Smith don't
versus...
even play for the Cowboys. That was so long ago. Who's talking about Emmitt Smith? It's Tony Dorsett, man. Tony Dorsett plays for the Cowboys, not Emmitt Smith. What am I talking about?
A person named the Golden Eagle 99 says that Emmitt Smith is...
It's not Emmitt Smith. It's Tony Dorsett.
But they're going along with what you're talking about. They're like helping. They're Buddy Ryan versus Jimmy Johnson. Hey, not too bad, right?
Not too bad, but I like it better. I would really, really like it better if that big tubby guy with the mustache was still coaching. He was really, really good.
Andy Reid. You mean the Walrus? The Walrus.
That's the Walrus guy. That's him. Wilford Brimley himself.
Do you know that the Eagles fans, when they won the Super Bowl, they ate horse crap? Literally, they did. You hear about that?
We don't even do that here. That's pretty damn gross.
I know. I didn't think they did that in West Virginia. Okay.
No.
Here we go.
Not here in Rusty Rock, anyway.
Rusty Rock. You live in a place called Rusty Rock?
Yep.
Jesus. All right. This is a Titanic game. The 6-0 Pittsburgh Steelers, and I want to just give myself a pat on the back. I said in May that they were the team of the AFC. So far, I look like I'm correct. But they're 6-0 against their bitter rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. See, there's a team called the Ravens in Baltimore now, not the Colts. Baltimore Ravens. And they're 5-1. But this is in Baltimore. These two, we call this the black and blue division because these people they maim each other. The Steelers at Ravens. Dwayne, who are you going with?
Think about this for a second. Is O'Donnell still quarterbacking for the Steelers?
Yeah, Neil O'Donnell's still quarterbacks for the Steelers.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Neil O'Donnell. We got Big Bus Boy. What's his name? Big Bus Boy?
Jerome Bettis.
Jerome Bettis.
He's having a good year. Yeah.
Yep. And on the other side, we got on Baltimore, let me see, we got Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne. And who else is on that team? Baltimore.
That's the Indianapolis Colts that you're talking about, dude.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're talking about the Ravens. Okay, so we got the Rice kid that beat up the girl. We have the other guy. What's his name?
Yes.
What's that other guy? The Ray guy that killed somebody and got away with it. What's his name? Lewis. That Lewis guy. That murder guy.
They never proved that. Okay, he made a deal. Okay, he made a bargain. Okay, but I'm just saying.
I'm gonna have to go with Baltimore on that one.
Okay, so you're going with the guy who beat up his girlfriend in an elevator, Ray Rice.
Yep.
Okay, and the murderer, Ray Lewis. Okay, but again, they never found the murder weapon. I don't believe, although he did pay off some people. But you have so the Steelers are going to get their first loss of the season.
They're going to get the first loss of the season against Baltimore. I really believe that.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. I like that.
You can see how serious I am when I say that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this game could down the line could determine who gets the number 1 seed in the AFC. Of course, there's also Kansas City and at the Titans as well, but these two could very well be there at the end. Okay, so we have. I should break the news to you. The Chargers no longer in San Diego; they are now in Los Angeles. The 2-4 Los Angeles Chargers at the 2-4 Denver Broncos. Who do you got?
Let me think here. The Chargers, we got, what's his name playing? What's that guy's name? The guy with the glasses that runs the ball. What's his name? I forgot his name. He wore the glasses and he ran that ball. I forgot his name.
Eric Dickerson?
I think it might have been him, but I'm not sure about his name. I just know, all I know is the guy that plays on the other team. What's his name, too? The guy that plays on the other team.
Hang on, Dwayne, hang on. Eric Dickerson played for the other LA team, the Rams.
I talked about him earlier, actually. I talked about him on the Rams earlier in the conversation earlier today. All right, so it's going to be him. It's going to be it's a Phillip Rivers guy. Phillip Rivers guy.
No.
It's him. Okay, so we're going to go with him against the Denver guy. What's his name?
This guy's a fucking idiot.
Who's the guy on the Denver team? I don't know his name, but he talks funny. What's his name?
On the Chargers?
Yeah, he played for the Denver Broncos, and he said, "Got to talk to him right now." I can't remember
Oh.
his name at the time,
Shannon Sharp.
He's Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. Very thick Southern accent. Yeah, Shannon Sharp. Yep.
I'm going to have to go with Denver on that one.
Okay. All right.
I'm joining the Mile High Club on this one.
Oh, gross. I don't. Yeah, I'm sure all the ladies.
They play Mile High Stadium, right? In Mile High Stadium?
Technically they do. Yes, they do play in Mile High Stadium. Yes, but
I'm on the Mile High Club train on that one.
I'm sure all the ladies can't wait to join the Mile High Club with you, Dwayne. I'm certain they're lining up. So, okay, we have one game left. The Big Kahuna, the big one, the Monday night game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New York Giants. The Buccaneers are 5-2. The Giants are an abysmal 1-6. They are absolutely atrocious. Both New York teams suck. But this is Tampa Bay at New York in a stadium that their quarterback Tom Brady is very familiar with. Who you got?
So I got a feeling that New York's best player is going to retire spontaneously tomorrow. I don't think he's going to make it to the game on Monday. I think Lawrence Taylor is going to call it a day, and he's going to be done tomorrow. So you can count him out of the game completely. Now, on to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay got a pretty good team. But here's the thing about Tampa Bay is last year no one was talking anything about Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay sucked. Oh, Tampa Bay who? Tampa Bay who? Tampa Bay who? But now this year they suck. Now all of a sudden this year with the same damn roster, they're like this magically special team that is going to be some stacked team that's going to help that new quarterback fella win some games. How'd that magically happen?
Yeah, are you referring to Brady joining after they got rid of Jameis Winston?
That young guy, old Tom. Yeah, he come into town.
Young.
Now all of a sudden Tampa Bay got a stacked team. Why weren't they stacked last year? Why weren't they stacked in preseason?
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, people are saying that First of all, they said, well, Tom Brady, he's old, he's washed up. If he wants to prove that he's still great, he has to go to a different team. Well, the moment he does that, he went to a new team, and now they're moving the goalpost even further. They're saying that, oh, well, now that Tom is on the Bucs, it's a stacked team all of a sudden. Even though last year that stacked team went 7-9 with Jameis Winston, who threw 30 interceptions.
I really believe that if Tom Brady had gone to, let's say, Washington, D.C., the Redskins, or if he had gone to Philadelphia or Dallas this year, they would be the Pro Bowl team of the whole league right now.
Dwayne, I have to give you some bad news. The Washington Redskins no longer exist.
Why not?
Well, they changed their name. They got rid of their name, and now they're called the Washington Football Team.
What is this, Pee Wee League or something? That's what kind of like a Pee Wee football team name.
That's what they did, apparently.
Why would they do that for?
Well, they said the Redskins' name was offensive. So they are now just called the Washington Football Team. Very generic. They even have like a little cute W on their helmet. So just thought I should let you know.
Game for the rest of their lives then.
Yeah, I find it crazy. I mean, the history of that team and the Super Bowls and one of the greatest coaches of all time, Joe Gibbs, and all that legacy and the I always thought the Redskins were awesome, like a badass logo, badass, just the whole look. Everything was just so awesome. I think they really ruined their legacy there and really kind of screwed it up. But yeah, I just call them the DC criminals since all the politicians are criminals that live in Washington anyway. So
Tampa Bay is going to win that game in New York.
I certainly hope so, because Tom Brady and the New York Giants doesn't mix well. But I don't think this Giants team is going to be a problem. Okay, Dwayne, thank you so much. That's all of our picks. Let me see. Can you hang on just a second? Does anyone have a question for this guy? Before we go, let's see. Oh yes, Father. Actually, I can get you this one. You like it? Cool. Has Joe Theismann's leg healed? I hear he's doing better. He's doing better. Yeah. So.
Now, when Joe Theismann got his leg broke.
Yeah.
6? No, it was something like that. He broke somewhere in the 80s. This is we're not in the 80s anymore. I know that much. But he got his leg broke. He was done. Then Alex Smith got his leg broke the same way in the same stadium on the same day almost. The same kind of type of thing. He's trying to make a comeback. So we'll find out. If Joe comes back now. He still has time. If Alex can come back, Joe can come back.
Well, you do have two questions. Which Cowboys quarterback was better, Troy Aikman or Tony Romo?
Is that supposed to be a real question?
Yes, it's by a guy named some random Patriots fan.
How many Super Bowls did Tony Romo won?
0.
How many Super Bowls did Troy Aikman won?
3.
There's your answer. How many times has Troy Aikman cried on the field?
None that I know of.
How many times has Tony Romo cried on the field?
I think approximately 14.
There's your answer right there.
All right. Dwayne, it's been fun. It's been magical. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Me and Milena are very, very grateful for you to come on here on this Halloween night and giving us these great picks. The only one I disagree with you on is the Bengals one. But if the Bengals win, I'm going to call you up and say, dude, you are a genius. All right? So
it's already been done before. I've already been told that. But if it makes you feel better about things, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thank you so much, and we appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Happy All Hallows Eve.
Bye. Well, that was interesting. Now,
Wow.
what's interesting about that is, despite his reasoning, despite his logic, like the way he determined who he was going to pick was completely screwed up. It's he's talking about players that don't exist anymore, or some have been dead, and then he refers to teams from different cities that used to be in a city. Anyway, but the for some reason the picks actually turned out pretty damn reasonable. But again, if that Bengals pick turns out to be right, can you imagine? Okay? Can you imagine? But I tell you what, if guys, check this out. If Luke, oh, this is funny. Luke just said, now I know Dwayne was the architect behind the VAS quarterback ranking system. You got me. It's okay. Milena, the secret's out. They got us.
Oh yeah.
So
We got the human factor. Dwayne. The human.
yes. He was the real architect behind the VAS
Yeah.
MVQ.
We didn't want to have just stats, for stats' sake. We wanted that human factor.
Yeah,
Somebody with a gut feeling like Dwayne.
absolutely.
He's amazing, ain't he?
Oh yeah. He's amazing.
He's just killing it.
But guys, could you imagine? We have amazing opportunity tomorrow. What if the New York Jets beat the Chiefs? Now, I know it sounds ridiculous, but think about the greatness, okay? So first of all, everyone knows that next Saturday I have to wear Jets jersey, okay? That sucks, all right? And I think we all agree that sucks. But if somehow the Jets beat Patrick Mahomes, I'll be honest, I might be happy to wear it. I actually might be happy to wear it. Because I would be able to troll Patrick Mahomes fans forever. I'm not talking about just this weekend or the next weekend after that. I'm talking forever. I could do the kind of troll job just that people only dream of. Okay? To lose to the 0-6 Jets. Now, what is the one thing that could make this even remotely plausible? The fact that Adam Gase's job is on the line every single week now. When you are a team like the Jets and you know you're not going to win any games, maybe one game if you're lucky, you don't have anything to play for as far as the playoffs. So how do you get jacked up for a game? How do you get excited for a game? Right? What you would do is you would see a team coming in who is a great team and has the hottest quarterback and the team everyone's talking about, right? And you want to beat them. You want to ruin their week. You just want to say that you could ruin them. And the Jets played a division rival last week, Buffalo. Nothing to them, means nothing, right? But playing Patrick Mahomes, these guys are going to get up for this game, all right? And they're going to throw everything they've got at Patrick Mahomes. I'm telling you, okay, Williams, the defensive coordinator, he's going to throw every single possible thing he has at Patrick Mahomes. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at this dude. And keep in mind that Williams is the guy from New Orleans, the architect of Bountygate. So this guy's got a few issues that I'm sure he's going to want to put on display. And that's why I always held my breath when we would ever play a Williams defense, because I was always worried about Tom. But, and I'm not saying this, I don't think that they're going to hurt Patrick, but they will try to come up with some of the most brutal defense. And we're talking like constant blitzing, just constant, relentless pressure. And it's just going to be interesting. So, yeah, my God, could you guys imagine the greatness of that? The absolute greatness. That will be the funniest freaking thing I've ever seen. Could we be so lucky? Could we be so lucky? And it's not because I don't have anything against Patrick Mahomes, guys. I'll say it again. It's not that. It's everybody who craps on Tom, okay? And then uses Mahomes as the benchmark and the reason why, and the comparison why Brady's not good. That's my problem with him. Well, again, it's not with him personally. I like Patrick. He seems like actually a really nice dude, okay? And his coach is Andy Reid. I know I pick on Andy Reid because he's fat and he's the walrus and stuff. Whatever. But he's a good dude too, so I really don't have a problem with him. I'm not fond of Travis Kelce. I think he's kind of a douche, but whatever. But it's the people who talk junk. Now, if these people, like Nick Wright, okay? Nick Wright, he's the huge Chiefs fan. Could you imagine how he would be if they lost to the 0-6 Jets tomorrow? God, please. That would be glorious. Oh, my God. Just the greatest thing ever. So. Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the big games. Well, first we'll talk about Patriots and Buffalo Bills, right? Guys, I really believe that New England's season depends on this game. This game is the difference. Losing this game would put us at 2-5 in an AFC that is full of teams with only one loss, you know, and these teams are going to continue down that road. They're not just going to derail. Okay, the Chiefs are going to be good. The Ravens, the Steelers, even the Titans. These teams are going to continue to be good. They're not all going to derail so badly to where the Patriots could sneak in at like 9-7. I don't think they would. And I think the Bills, so if the Bills were to win this game, that would put them up in the division as well. And they would even if somehow we came back and tied with them in the division, they would end up with the tiebreaker, presumably. Well, they'd have to beat us twice, but still, they would at least already have that one game on us. And that sucks. If Buffalo wins, I think that's a wrap, you know. I hate to say it, but I'm being realistic. I have to be realistic, right? So now, if New England wins, let's say that we see some activity from Cam. Let's say we see some positive playing and just It seems like just he's clicking with the guys. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of injuries for the Patriots tomorrow. We don't even know who we're going to have. He definitely doesn't have Edelman, who is a security blanket. Not only a security blanket is Edelman, but he's the leader. He is the guy who gets everyone fired up. You guys have seen the mic'd up documentaries for the Patriots. You've seen that Julian is yelling as much as Brady does, and as much as Dante Hightower, who, by the way, is not there either. But it's going to be hard. No N'Keal Harry as well, even though N'Keal hasn't been playing that great. But that's even another problem to add to this. So if somehow Cam takes this game and basically just takes it on his back and beats Buffalo, a quality team like Buffalo, then hang on. Okay? We live to fight another week. So I never thought I'd say this about a Patriots team, at least not right now. But my God, week 8 and our team is our season is make or break right now. Can you believe that? I mean, that's so strange, right? We're so used to just automatically getting to the playoffs. Just, you know? Yeah. So he doesn't have, that's the thing though. He doesn't have anybody to throw to, so he's going to have to do something. He's, I don't know. I don't have much of anything to say as far as him right now, because I don't know what he's going to be able to do. So we'll find out. But that just adds to what I'm saying. If somehow they win, and Cam plays well, if it's clear that he is a big part of that win, then we've got something. Then we've got something to be happy about, something to be excited about. So the season, in my opinion, the season is tomorrow. This is a playoff game, basically. I know that's cliche and people say that crap all the time, but in this case, I do believe this is a playoff game. It's either win or we're out. That's what it is. And even if we win, it still doesn't mean that we're going to win or get into the playoffs. It just keeps us alive. So we still have to continue, but at least it keeps us going for another week. We have a $5 super chat from Psycho Mantis. He says, trade Gilmore for Julio Jones. Okay. All right. The thing about that, and dude, I would love to have Julio Jones. I've heard rumors that they're listening to trade offers for anybody on the roster, including Gilmore. Or actually, from what I hear, especially Gilmore. But I don't trust journalists. I don't trust rumor mills or anything like that. We've been burned too many times on that crap. But we'll just say that everybody is tradable right now as far as New England's concerned. One of the biggest problems that New England has on offense is their receivers can't get separation. And what is the cause of this? Is it A, they're just physically not able to, or B, are they not getting the system? Are they not understanding how to get open? Or C, is the quarterback not leading them into the right directions and the timing, timing throws? And I don't think it's that, because we saw Tom have the same problem last year with that. Or 4, the scheme is garbage. So that wasn't a rhetorical question. I'm literally posing that question. What's the problem there? If you got Julio Jones, of course, this guy doesn't even need to get separation. The guy's a freak, right? But you can just double him. And who are you going to worry about? So there still needs to be a complementary piece. There still needs to be that other guy. And so maybe just maybe that would help N'Keal Harry later on because he's not playing, and Edelman later on because he's not playing. But yeah, that would be pretty interesting. I would love to see that. So, but as far as the reality of that happening, doubtful. But and then you're talking about money and salary and what that is and how that's going to work. Whatever. But that would be cool. I just wish it could have happened last year. So, God, could you imagine if Tom was given Julio Jones last year? Listen, Gilmore is great for us, guys, okay? But Gilmore's somewhere else. I don't think he's what everybody thinks he is. Okay? And that's not a knock on him. Okay? That's actually a compliment on Belichick. It's Belichick's ability to identify what a player does and he'll exploit that one thing and he'll just perfectly put him. And you get a lot of these coaches that take a player and they think that their scheme and what they've got is greater than what the player's capable of, and they assume that they could fit the player into this scheme, and we find out it's ridiculous and doesn't work. And that happens all too often. And I think that Gilmore is one of those guys that if he gets with the wrong coach, it's not going to work. It's not going to be what people think he's going to be. But for New England, on our team, he is extremely valuable. His value couldn't be higher for a guy in his position. But I think he's fool's gold for any team who's hoping to get him and then pay him big bucks and thinking that they're going to get the Stephon Gilmore from last year. Not happening. So. The Dark Minute Man says maybe it's both receivers and the scheme. Yeah, it's possible. Do I think the team is mad at Bill for the trade rumors? To be quite honest with you, I think the team is completely... This is just a disaster, guys. The year, and it's just a lot of crap, okay? First, the obvious is when you lose Tom, when you lose a guy like Brady, that already is devastating. But then you thought that you had your quarterback in Jarrett Stidham, and then it just didn't pan out like you thought. But make it even worse, so COVID happens, you don't get the proper training camp, you don't get to work with these guys, you don't get to give them the time they need, you don't get a preseason, and then after the season starts, your team gets rescheduled, all everywhere, all over the place, and you don't get to practice like you should, and even your quarterback, your starting quarterback gets COVID. I mean, come on. So I'm just saying that it's not exactly the greatest year that you could ask for any team, but it's a mess right now. It just is. So, but that's why I'm not freaking out. I'm not like trying to say it's this fellow's fault, it's his fault. It's just really, it's just bad, guys. It's just bad. Just from every angle, it's just bad. So I'm not going to come down hard. The only thing you'll ever hear me say regarding the Patriots in a negative light is only if I have to defend Brady. When people are saying, Brady had nothing to do with the Patriots and he was system quarterback and all that stuff, and then I'd have to say, but I would only go that far, just enough to defend Brady, but I prefer not to even doing that. I prefer just to stick to what he's doing in Tampa Bay. That should speak for itself. So. We have a super chat. $2 super chat from John Thomas Chavez. He says, receivers haven't been the same since O'Shea left. Yeah. For those guys who may not know, Chad O'Shea was our wide receivers coach for several years. He ended up going to Miami with what the hell is wrong with me? Brian Flores. Jesus. He went to Brian Flores as the offensive coordinator in Miami. But Miami fired him. Remember this? You guys remember we talking about this? Miami fired him because the offensive scheme that Chad was trying to input was too complicated. It was too complex. The players didn't understand it. Think about this. You fire your coach because he's too smart and his scheme is too complex. You fire him instead of getting players that aren't as stupid. This is the epitome of Miami Dolphin football. This is who they are. This is what they are. This is what I'm talking about, guys, when I say organization. Organization mindset. Cincinnati Bengals, Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins, New York Jets. This is an organizational failure from top to bottom. And they basically said, we're going to get rid of you because our players are too damn stupid to understand what you're trying to do. That's crazy, okay? But to that point, Chad did a great job for us. Great job in New England. Maybe he was the difference. That's not a bad point, John. Anthony Post says Bill, the GM, needs to give up the position and concentrate on coaching. You guys have heard me say many times, and I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree, that sometimes Bill, the GM, screws over Bill, the coach. Now, I think he's great at picking defensive players. So he's shown to be able to do that, and in fact, he's shown to be able to pick up good offensive players, but in the later rounds. The problem where Bill struggles is getting that first round hot shot wide receiver, that dude that just transforms your offense, and a Julio Jones type guy. And I'm not saying there's always a Julio Jones available in the draft, but I'm just saying the type of guy that you bring in, the Chris Godwins and Mike Evans, and there's always one guy each season that kind of makes a showing. I mean, Metcalf, look at Metcalf, and he didn't even go in the first round. And yet we took N'Keal Harry in the first round. But obviously Metcalf was the much better choice, but of course that's looking back on it, but still. So when it comes to wide receivers and stuff like that in the first round, he misses badly. He did that with running backs as well. So, and I'm talking feature backs. I'm not talking about guys like James White that are kind of a anomaly for what they do or what they were supposed to do. But yeah, I mean, if you had a GM that you could trust, like Nick Casario, I really believe that he would make a good general manager. In fact, the Houston Texans were trying to make him their general manager before they promoted Bill O'Brien. And Belichick blocked it and said no, he wasn't going to let him go out of his contract. So it was going to be next year that Nick was going to go to Houston and be the GM. And that probably looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. But why not, if you're New England, why not make Nick the GM? With Bill, of course, having massive input and help with it, but let Nick really kind of be the guy, and then all Bill does is just focus on coaching. That could be interesting. I'd actually like to see how that works. Instead of letting Casario go, why would we let him go? Don't let another team get him, especially an AFC team. Why would we do that? It's just stupid. So, yeah, and Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb was obviously a better pick than Sony Michel, Mr. Belly Flop himself. I'm sure Shaq is not going to be happy with what I just said, but yeah. Yeah, Elliot, I know. It's football. It's supposed to be complex. Exactly. Guys, football is chess. It's human chess on a field. It's human chess. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be complex. And that's why I have such massive respect for quarterbacks, because of the amount of knowledge, the amount of information that you have to take in and process. So you have to know everybody's job as well as you know your own. And you have to know their job and their assignments as well as they do. But at the same time, you have to know it. That's not enough. You have to remember it, but you have to process it. So when you get out on the field and it's in a stressful situation and you've got to take that info, recall, and then apply it quickly, the quarterback position is the hardest sports position there is. There's nothing more difficult than that. That is, if you want to be good at a high level. I mean, it's easy to be Jamarcus Russell or Ryan Leaf and completely just suck, okay? But I'm saying if you want to be actually good at it, it's incredible. So, how hard it is. Yeah, and whenever we do land on a good player, we end up trading them or letting them go. It's just really frustrating sometimes. Okay, so that's basically all I have for the Patriots game. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, it's a win or loss. That's it. But we have the Tampa Bay game. We have the Patriots. I mean, the Tampa Bay Brady's playing the New York Giants again. I'm sure Tom would really love it if Eli was playing, so he could just beat the crap out of him right now, because this is going to be a beatdown of epic proportions. This is going to be an annihilation. This is going to be, they're going to call this the Monday Night Massacre. That's what it's going to be nicknamed after it's over. Tom is he's going to stat whore the crap out of this. Okay? We're talking full-blown Drew Brees stat whore chlamydia level. Okay? Stat whore chlamydia Drew Brees level stat whoring Monday night, because it's the Giants. They're gonna be up like by 30, and he's gonna be throwing 40-yard bombs into the end zone with 2 minutes left. It's gonna be glorious. Okay, so you coming back? All right. Do I think Tom will have 6? No, he'll have 4 touchdown passes. I know that we did the picks already with Dwayne, and like I said, I agree with almost all of them. But I just want to revisit a couple just to expand on them a little more. I'm very interested in the Steelers-Ravens game. That is going to be freaking awesome because of what it means. This is a balance of power type of game. Not just for the division, for the NFC North, but possibly for the AFC in general. I think if the Steelers are going to lose, and listen, the Steelers are not 16-0 good, okay? Even when I said that I thought that they might be the best team in the AFC, I never envisioned that they'd be undefeated, okay, or 15-1 or whatever. I mean, I didn't realistically believe that that was the kind of team they were. I just believed that they were going to be really good. But if they're going to lose, and they're going to, why not Baltimore, and why not in Baltimore? So this is the game that if you would pick them to lose, it's got to be this one. And it just feels right. It just seems like the game that they're gonna Baltimore's gonna get them on this. So, and I think Lamar wants to he wants to prove something, and I know he used MVP, but that's kind of my point. He wants to show that there's no MVP hangover kind of thing. It's kind of like the Super Bowl hangover. There's actually an MVP hangover. And then you got the Madden curse and all that crap. You know, the Madden curse, talking about that, I looked into it more, and I was kind of curious because I found it kind of interesting. And there was something, it's true, starting with the first time they ever put a player, instead of Madden, he used to be on the cover, but they started putting a player. They started putting a player on the cover. And Millena, have you heard about this? Do you know about this? The Madden curse?
I've heard of it.
The video game. So what would happen is that whenever the EA Sports company that makes the Madden football game, whenever they'd put a player on the cover, the next year that player would have some kind of disaster happen to him.
Yeah.
Injury, or he would just play like crap, or just something, just it wouldn't go his way. And I looked into it, and I will agree, at first glance, it looks to be legit. It looks like it's got something there. Like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, every time someone is on the cover of Madden, they seem to, something happen to them. But then I started looking at it from a different perspective. I thought, let's not think of this as related to being on the Madden cover. Let's relate this to how they got on the Madden cover. How did they get on the cover? They got on the cover because they were having the best season of their career, or one of the best seasons of their career, correct? Usually their MVP or something close to it. So when you have a season like that, the mathematical probability of the follow-up season being lesser in comparison is extremely high. Wouldn't you agree? So it's only natural for there to be a downslope, unless you're Tom Brady, a downslope coming off of a big career year that managed to get you on Madden. And this was even more so for the running backs. The running backs, they were usually on the cover for years and years. It was running back, running after running back. And running backs, the likelihood of a running back getting injured is extremely high, especially if he's, like I said, he's coming off a career year. In order for a running back to be so good that he gets on the Madden cover, that means he had to have rushed, so many times per game, it's ridiculous, okay? He's going to get fed the ball more and more and more and more. And so the follow-up year, the team is just going to keep feeding them the ball, and now the likelihood of an injury comes up. And boom, it happens. And everyone says, oh, see, it's the Madden curse. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Well, okay. That's the first thing. The second thing, how many of those quarterbacks on the Madden cover were running quarterbacks? Vince Young, Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, Steve McNair, I believe, is on the cover. There's a lot of those guys. And we all know running quarterbacks tend to get injured because when they run, they get hit, and then you're no longer afforded the quarterback protection in the pocket. So again, not Madden curse, just legitimate probability, correct? based on what they do. And I think that's it. I think that's the deal. But still, so many people believe in that and think about that, even though Tom Brady broke it. Actually, people try to say that Patrick Mahomes broke the curse, and no, he didn't. Actually, Brady broke the curse. Because Brady was put on the cover, and then the next year he won NFL MVP. And went to the Super Bowl and threw for 505 yards and broke the record for most yards in the Super Bowl. They lost, but it certainly wasn't his case. But I'm not going to say that the MVP curse, the curse was regular season MVP, Super Bowl appearance, and 505 yards and no interceptions. Yeah, if that's a curse, then I guess I'll take it, I mean, how many quarterbacks? So actually Brady broke the curse. But they keep crediting Mahomes for that too, and I'm like, no, that's not true. Brady did that. So, and if you remember, Brady did the commercial where he would say, "There's no such thing as curses." So he did this commercial where he walked under a ladder, he let a black cat cross paths with him, he broke a mirror, he shattered a mirror, all those things that say curses, superstitious stuff. But yeah, Tom did that because only the GOAT can defy that kind of witchcraft. Yeah. So But yeah, I just think that when it comes to the curse, I think people need to just look at performance and they need to look at the likelihood of why those things occur. And then you'll see that it's not really a curse. It's more of a just probability kind of thing. But it is. Yeah, it is fun to talk about, though. It is fun. I've always found it interesting. Yeah, Luke, actually, the curse is psychological. That actually could be a thing. After it became a big deal, I remember a lot of players. You're actually onto something there. I remember a lot of players used to talk about it and get asked about it. I mean, in fact, I just said Tom Brady did a commercial to try to show that there's no curse. So clearly it was in these guys' heads. But let's say, did someone just say that their real name is Tom Allen? Are you serious or are you kidding? Your real name is Tom Allen? Cool. That's my dad's name too. Nice. Oh, his name's not Tom Allen. His last name's Allen. Okay, I got you. Patriot King says, not gonna lie, but the GOAT probably cursed the Patriots and did a Bobby Lane. And what he's referring to is the curse of Bobby Lane. When he was the quarterback for the Detroit Lions and they traded him to Pittsburgh. And he said, if you trade me, or he either said it if you trade me or he said it after they traded me, but he said, you're going to be cursed for 50 years. You're never going to win for 50 years. It's been longer than 50 years and they haven't won crap. So they call it the curse of Bobby Lane. The curse of Tom Brady in New England. You never know. We'll find out. But at least Tom didn't curse them that we know of. So at least we hope not. So I think everything that's happened this year would look like a freaking curse. Okay? All the craziness that's happened. So. Oh, Elliot, you're such an ass. Elliot goes, I mean, to be fair, he still lost the Super Bowl. Come on, man. All right. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. and I hope you enjoyed the show. It's a happy Halloween again. No, we're not promoting communism. It's a joke. We're actually this exact opposite. The point of Halloween is to dress up as evil one night a year, and that's what we're doing. We dressed up like evil, and here we are. So,
What do you mean evil?
evil.
What do you mean evil?
It's evil. It's
we
evil.
We are communists, for the equality and freedom and peace. What do you mean evil?
Okay.
Have you read the Communist Manifesto?
Yes, I have actually. Okay, so I mean equal misery. How about that? Equal misery. Okay, so.
You American don't understand anything. You think football is a good game.
Football.
American football.
It is. It's the greatest game.
It's a very selfish game.
It's the greatest sport.
You should look at us, Russia.
No.
We have football.
Don't you guys like have those games where you run around naked on the ice and hit each other like sumo wrestlers and stuff? I mean, and then don't y'all have those games where you take turns slapping each other, trying to knock the other guy out by slapping them? I mean, it's a bunch of retarded crap. No thanks. So, but I do want to say this. The MVP quarterback thing that I'm referring to, I had a video planned for it. Do you guys want to see the results? Do you? I think they might want to see the results.
You want to do a demo? Are you going to do a demo?
A demo. These guys are loyal, okay? They're here now. They're here tonight.
Yeah.
They deserve it.
We should do a demo.
They're here every week,
right.
Okay?
And the way we're going to do it, we're going to post it on the website in the future. This is how we get
Yes.
First publishing. So, and then you copyright it there. That's how it's done.
All right.
So, yeah.
So let's do it. Okay. So I wasn't anticipating that to show it live. So while I am pulling that file up, Milena, do you want to talk about anything? Did anything happen this week on Skip and Shannon? I think I heard you were pretty pissed off about something they said earlier, but I don't remember. Or I didn't hear all of it.
Yeah, I guess you did mention, I think you talked about it a little bit, but it was about the MVP list. And Shannon's list, of course, consists of, Russell Wilson, which surprisingly now everybody's jumping on that Russell Wilson wagon. I remember Aaron talking about it for a while, and I don't recall having that much support for Russell. He kept being unnoticed in a way for a while. Anyway, he's number one in Shannon's list. On Shannon's list, then you have Aaron Rodgers, of course. Who else? Then my homeboy, as he calls him, and then you have Tom Brady sharing it with I can't recall whom, but that's of course pretty crazy, given the outcome and the game that Tom played. I mean, he's definitely climbed up that list. He's definitely a consideration for an MVP. And of course, Shannon bases his list on stats, like pure stats for stats' sake, like QBR and stuff like that. And then yard, he keeps talking about, he gets me lost in these yards, 1 yard less or more. I don't care about yards. I mean, yards in relationship to winning, to Super Bowls, stats in relationship to that, in improving the team. And also, isn't an MVP role, I mean, given to the person who contributes the most to their team, who's the most valuable to their team? So how is not Tom Brady like the big, the that on top of the list? I'm not saying that he has earned in terms of being number one and Russell Wilson. I mean, we'll still have to see more games. We need to see more games, etc., etc. But how is he not up there and he's being pushed down after Aaron Rodgers, who completely got destroyed by Tom Brady, by the Bucs. So in any event, what I'm saying is the Bucs used to be called what is the Buccaneers, and now they're the Tom Bradyers. I don't know what the TB team. So he's definitely raised them up, put them on the level of where they've been wanting to be for so long. So he is, I would say, pretty valuable to his own team. So he's earned that so far. And
just let the guys know that
Aaron's
I'm bringing the list. I'm bringing the.
He's preparing the list, so I'm just chit-chatting here with you guys. So
Take some questions
if you have any questions for us, for Aaron, and yeah, he's almost done. So this list is amazing. I've seen it. It's got a lot of stats. I mean, it's based off of apparently it's a huge spreadsheet that he's made pretty also.
Pretty.
I mean, yeah, for presentation purposes, but there's a lot of thinking and considerations and digging into, of course, stats and everything, and all current lists that exist out there, and finding out what they're lacking. Because what good is a list that doesn't rank kind of like winning quarterbacks, but he puts on some stat horse, as he calls them, as Aaron calls them, to quote him. There, I mean, in that case, you can have a sports person who's just like doing some kind of sports for some stats on a field. Why do they even have to play with a team if it's not about winning? If it's not about that being a huge point in the list. So there's so so he's found that there are many things that are not being looked at in those popular lists out there and used by the Shen Sharp and all these other talking heads. So Aaron has found many discrepancies and things like that, which he has been able to sort of fix and improve and come up with his own way of evaluating that actually makes sense. And the most important thing about the list is that once he looked, he came up with the formulas, he plugged in the numbers and everything, and once he looked at the rankings, it totally made sense for the first time, right? Yeah. For the first time in a long time, it makes sense. You don't have people there that are just like, why you even there? Who cares that you ran I don't know how many yards and things like that. But did you run these yards that contributed? You know what I mean? Like, does that have a connection with the outcome, with winning, with your improving your team, helping your team? It's not just about stats. It's about winning.
Okay, I think I've got it.
So we got it.
Okay, thank you, Milena, for
Yeah, I mean, do you have
helping me there. So yeah, I got it ready. I had to pull up and I screenshot each one so I could in order kind of show them as it goes along. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you. I'm going to show the main the back end groups outside of the top 10. I'm going to just show the list in bulk and then explain kind of how they got there. So first, we're going to go with number 32 all the way down to number 21. Okay, so. Okay, I hope y'all can see that clearly and kind of tell what's going on here. So, as you see, number 30, the Redskins quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. Actually, Kyle Allen is the starting quarterback for them. However, like I said, in order to make the list, you've got to reach a qualification. And the qualification is you have to start a certain amount of games, and because the formula messes up, it gets skewed because let's say a guy only plays a few games, but yet he, let's say he has only like a 20% of the amount of attempts and stuff. So he's got a great completion record. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, you played one game, you played 2 games. Of course, it's easy. It's easy to have 1 or 2 great games and then that's all you've played, versus a guy who's got 8 games played or 7 games played. Now it's much harder to maintain that. So it just skews the results if you've not played enough. And that's kind of where we're going with that. But let's see here. I'm going to read to you guys briefly what the actual things that I put into. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to reveal the actual number amounts, but what they consist of. So I'm just going to give you a general idea of some of the stuff that we're using.
I was testing.
Okay. So wins are obviously important. Okay. Winning is everything. And let me explain. Winning is so important. Okay. That we did something unique to where your mistakes, your big mistakes, your interceptions, and your fumbles. Okay. So fumbles lost. Your interceptions and your fumbles lost don't have as much weight, doesn't apply as much if you win the game. So if the quarterback wins the game, it's not as heavy against that player than it would be as if he lost the game. So the reason I inputted that is because at the end of the day, what is this all? It all matters that you won. And yeah, you could occasionally get a quarterback who's a part of a team who wins all the time in spite of that quarterback. Well, I don't really believe that that's possible because in the long run, if you're a bad quarterback or if you make a lot of mistakes, over a course of a season, that will catch up with you. That will end up revealing itself. So you're either good, you don't have to be great, but you are at least good and you are valuable to your team, because win is a win. And that's why quarterback position is the only position on the field that we look at wins and say, okay, that's important. So winning is extremely important. Of course, losses count against you. Ties don't have any sway. So no negative for a tie, but no positive. It's just neutral. It's like the game. It doesn't make a difference. Completions are involved. The attempts matter. So that's where completion percentage would be involved, and that's where I was saying regarding if you're ranked high in the completion percentage, but you only played 2 games, it's stupid. So you've got to qualify. Air yards are important because remember, air yards and yak, which is yards after the catch. The reason these are differentiated because this is to figure out what quarterback is playing and being the most influential over every single play on average. Okay, so that's our goal here. Our goal is not to collect bulk stats. We've already got stuff like that. Our goal here is to produce a list of guys who are playing at the most elite level for their team and contributing the most in every way, not just throwing the ball, but in other aspects, and you'll see here. So yards after the catch, passing touchdowns, of course, interceptions, and pick sixes. Pick sixes actually cost even worse against you. Wide receiver drops. Okay, so I've been keeping up with wide receiver drops. This has to matter. Okay, it has to matter because so many times we see a perfect on target throw and it gets dropped, and it could have been a touchdown, it could have been all this other stuff, and it doesn't usually get. Well, I can't think of any standardized method that utilizes the wide receiver drops category, except until now we do. Hits, quarterback hits. This is important. Why would I throw that in there? Because, again, this is an overall idea about what the quarterback is going through and what is his value towards his team. Not a sack, but a hit. A hit is usually attributed to the quarterback when he stands in the pocket to make the throw. So this shows a quarterback sacrificing himself, sacrificing his body, giving himself up. If the guy has got a lot of hits, but yet he's got great stats, something is happening there. That means the guy is doing what it takes, leading by example, taking the punishment to still produce the same results, and that has to be commended. It does have a point assignment. It's not major, but it is important. At the end of the day, it does matter. Sack yards lost. Okay? I don't care how many times you've been sacked. Okay? In regards to this, I just care if you're losing lost yards, because getting sacked, yes, you lose the down, but sometimes getting sacked can actually be much better than throwing a pick, trying to get rid of the ball, or doing something stupid, right? Or intentional grounding penalty. Well, let's say you take a sack and it's only like a 4-yard sack. Let's say you got close to the line of scrimmage, but then you got taken down, or you went down. You went down because you wanted to protect the ball. That could be a positive. So as far as the amount of sacks, it doesn't really concern me. What matters to me is your yards, how many yards you lose over time. Football's a field position game, okay? It's all about field position. You can lose a few downs, but if you're losing the field position battle, that tends to bounce back and forth throughout the game and puts more strain on your defense. Game-winning drives, those are important. Are you coming through in the clutch? Fourth quarter comebacks. Are you coming through? Are you at that elite level right now? Are you playing? Are you that important to your team? And some people say, oh, well, if they're so elite, then they wouldn't allow the team to get ahead, the opposing team to get ahead in order to have to make those comebacks. That is the stupidest logic I've ever heard. And I saw it the other day on a meme concerning Joe Montana and Tom Brady. You know what the meme was? It said, Tom Brady has a 25-point comeback. Does Joe Montana have that in the Super Bowl? And Joe Montana says, as a joke, it's a meme, of course. Joe Montana says, I never let the other team get so far ahead to where I had to make a comeback. Okay, well, that's not really a good argument. There are tons of reasons why a quarterback could find himself needing to have a big fourth quarter drive or a big fourth quarter comeback of some sort. Not always to do with him. I think Russell Wilson right now is the exhibit of that. We've seen his defense completely fold, and he's out there just slinging the football around. So it does matter, guys. Rushing yards, of course, are important for a quarterback. Rushing touchdowns. I will point out, though, about that Joe Montana meme. He never lost in the Super Bowl. He never lost the Super Bowl. He only made it to 4 because the other times that he could have made the Super Bowl and possibly lost, they got crushed in the playoffs. So they never made it that far. So you could say that if you wanted to throw that back at somebody. But again, you don't want to do that unless you absolutely have to. So first downs passing. Okay, first downs passing, then there's first downs by run. But these are important. First downs over and over. If you are constantly getting first downs, you are helping your defense. You are making it the longer, okay, essentially throughout the course of a game, okay? Now, not counting maybe the fourth quarter if you're close, but throughout the early stages of a game, perhaps even one could say through the first 3 quarters, but definitely the first half. A quarterback who can take his time to go 100 yards and score is much more valuable than a quarterback who goes 100 yards and scores a touchdown in 4 plays or 3 plays, okay? What you want, because the points are the points. You get 6 points whether you threw a bomb to Tyreek Hill and he ran 60 yards, or whether you took 14 freaking plays to get down the field and it took 10 minutes off the clock, whatever the hell it is, right? Okay, the 6 points is 6 points. But what did you achieve when you took your sweet-ass time getting down the field? You've got the opposing defense out there on the field that whole time, having to work and figure out where you're going. And that also means that your defense is on the sidelines. So you're helping them. So when it comes to the fourth quarter, your guys are better rested than the other guys. Now we saw this concept come into play, and it cost the Kansas City Chiefs an AFC Championship game against us. Towards the end of the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes scored too fast. They should have methodically went down. They should have considered not giving the ball back to Tom. You don't want to do that. You gave him way too much time, and it ended up costing you ultimately. So that's when it can show you. And if you remember in overtime, that the Chiefs defense was exhausted. They just couldn't do anything. That's what you get when you are on a team where your team scores too fast. So this matters. First downs are important. You want to constantly be moving the chains, 15, 10 yards, 8 yards, 7 yards. You want to be moving the chains, but slowly and methodically. The points are points, okay? As they say, no such thing as style points on the scoreboard. The scoreboard doesn't know that you did some fancy-ass pass, doesn't care. It just knows that you scored, and it knows how much time you took off the clock. Okay. Bad throws, those matter. On-target throws also matter. Batted down passes. batted down passes are almost always the fault of the quarterback. It's him not visually seeing or anticipating. When it's not his fault, it's that an offensive lineman maybe didn't do the job that he was assigned to as far as keeping the guy in check. But even the offensive lineman, you can play a perfect position on the guy, and they find a way to sneak up their hands up there. And these D linemen are tall, big dudes, and they can get their hand up there. But the quarterback needs to anticipate these lanes. He needs to know where his throwing lanes are and know what to do and where to avoid that. So that is something that should normally be attributed to the quarterback, and we did. So we did that. Fumbles lost. I don't particularly care about if you fumbled. I only care if you lost the fumble. So that is what I focus on. And then you've got the opponent's offensive points per game. What are they scoring? And what is the defense giving up? And then, of course, I don't want to bore you guys because I could put this all in a better contained video where it's more exciting and I can cut out all the pauses and weird stuff. But there's also several more categories that have to do with defense and strength of schedule and all those things. And each one of these categories that I'm referring to, they have a number assignment, and that's where the key is the number assignment. Okay, so now you kind of have an idea about how we're doing it. So we got 32, we got Drew Lock, then we got 31, Sam Darnold. Again, like I said, Dwayne Haskins at 30. But Kyle Allen will eventually overtake Haskins. Actually, probably after tomorrow's games, Kyle will end up being the representative quarterback for the Redskins. But it's not like it really matters at this point, right? Of course, we got Daniel Jones at 29, Kirk Cousins. Who would have thought Kirk Cousins would be so far down? But boy, is he having an atrocious season. But even Cam Newton he's scoring higher, just a tad bit higher. Now look at these scores, guys. Look how close they are in some cases. And like I told you, those tenths of a point, they're important here. Justin Herbert, 26, and you're going to see an improvement there. You're going to see him start to come up. I have a feeling pretty soon. He needs to get some more games, but I like what I see from him. Then you got Foles, Garoppolo, Minshew, Joe Burrow, and then you got Deshaun Watson. And rightfully so, Deshaun Watson is leading. Now, again, this list does not mean what quarterback overall career-wise. This list is only for how they're playing now, how they are playing this year. Obviously, we know that Watson is better than all of those guys, okay? And he's going to be even better than some of the guys in front of him. But it's just to tell us where we're at. So, yes, weather, honest, yes, I consider weather. Weather is an aspect. Whether it's in the dome or whether it's away, outside, and based on if your team, if the away game is similar to your home game. So that's a good question, actually. But yes, it's absolutely. I put in every possible contingency I could think of that would matter to a quarterback, and I even quantified leadership, penalties. Okay, so how many penalties is the offense getting, and what type of penalties? Okay, because a quarterback, a good leader, will put that stuff in check. We saw, for example, what Brady did after the Chicago debacle and that lost game due to all those penalties, and we know for a fact Tom Brady was yelling at all of them, and then they tightened that up. And in the last 2 weeks, these guys have been model citizens on the field, nearly, well, compared to what they were. So those things matter. All right. And again, this does not, when I say MVP, this is not MVP overall because, of course, running backs could qualify for that too. This is most valuable quarterbacks. It's quarterback only is what we're focusing. All right. So that brings us to the next group. take a look at that for a second, if y'all want.
Yeah, that's better. Bigger like that.
You want to read off the names of that list, Millie?
Yeah, if I can.
Can you?
With my glasses.
Oh, okay.
So from the bottom up, number 20, Ryan. Then you have number 19, Wentz. Number 18, Stafford. 17, Prescott. 16, Fitzpatrick. On 15, we have Rivers. 14, Bridgewater. 13, Carr. 12, Jackson. 11, Mayfield. And number 10, Goff. Now, he's going to be back and explain a little bit about this. But it makes sense, right? I mean, from what I can tell, visually, it also makes sense. Like, Skip says the eye test. My eye test says that.
I hate that. You know, that gets on my nerves.
I hate to quote him, but it's a joke.
I know you like quoting Skip Bayless, though. She
I
watches,
also
guys.
like to quote Shannon.
Guys, she watches a lot of Undisputed, way more than I do, actually. So
it gives me something to laugh about sometimes.
okay, so no salami pizza. No, it's just for this year, and it's a fluid list. So each week it changes when they play another game, and we input that information, and it changes each week. This does not account for anything you did before the season before. It does not know that Tom Brady is Tom Brady. It doesn't know that Tom Brady is 6 Super Bowl win Tom Brady, and it doesn't know that a rookie's a rookie. It doesn't know that Justin Herbert is playing in his first year. It doesn't care. All it knows is that this is what they're doing for their team, and this is what their value is for their team right now, week to week. Now remember, this is not a statistic that says, oh, well, he's throwing more yards or he's got that. No. It's context. It doesn't matter. Like Matt Ryan, I saw someone say, come on, man, Matt Ryan only at 20. I'm a big Matt Ryan fan, guys. But listen, he may be leading the league in yards. Who cares? His team has, 1 win, 2 wins? They're horrible. Okay? And whatever the reason, you cannot be most valuable quarterback on a team that sucks, and that is killing him. Okay? It's killing him because of all those factors involved. It's blowing up in his face, and that's what's happening here. Right. He starts picking up some wins, and all those things change, because if he picks up wins, that means he's probably picked it up too. It means all those other situations that are involved, all those other parameters now start to weigh themselves in. So, yards mean nothing. Completions mean nothing in this aspect, because again, this is not a predictive stat, okay? And what I mean by that, this is very important, guys. It's not a predictive stat. This does not tell you how a quarterback is going to play next week, okay? Because if it did that, then I wouldn't be able to make the determinations like I do based on winning or losing, or if an interception should be counted against the player, or if it was the quarterback's fault. Those things would be altered because of that. This is a historical number, meaning it only tells us what's happened up to this point. It does not tell you what's going to happen. So please keep that in mind. This is just a determination about who has performed the best and most important for their team so far. So that puts Ryan at number 20. Carson Wentz at number 19, Stafford at number 18. But look at these numbers, guys. 27.4, 20. The difference, less than a half of a point. All right. Goes up to 29, 30. There's two different guys that are 30. 30.6. Look, 0.02 of a point difference right there. Let's see. So you got Ryan Fitzpatrick there at 16. Now, again, I said this at the beginning of the show. If you look at, I think it was either QBR or passer rating, Ryan Fitzpatrick, it says he's the 5th best quarterback in the league right now. No, it's not possible. It's not true. It's just, it's absurd. Okay? This makes sense. Ryan Fitzpatrick is leading a team that's 3-3, and they've got a lot of issues, and then there's some things that they're doing good. He's playing well, but it got him number 16. That's pretty respectable, I think, in the grand scheme of things. But then you've got Rivers playing better. And you got Bridgewater playing better. Now, this does not include Bridgewater's game Thursday night. So, and it doesn't include that for Ryan. Now, Matt Ryan had a pretty damn good game Thursday night, guys, by the way, because I saw you mention Matt Ryan. His Thursday game may make the difference and bump him up. Now, if he's got 27 points and the guy number 10, Goff, has got 39, I mean, we'll see. I don't think he can jump from 10 that fast, but the point is that he could move up greatly from this recent game. Derek Carr, Lamar Jackson, I'll admit Lamar Jackson was not as high as I anticipated. But again, with everything set in place and all the parameters set in place, it's just not enough. And then there's a huge jump. So we've noticed that so far that all the numbers are like very close together, but the difference from number 12 to number 11 is gigantic. Okay, in these terms, gigantic. Go from 33 to 38, and then now we're in the big guys here. Now, no doubt Lamar Jackson will be back in the top 10, I'm certain. But again, this is the great thing about this list. It lets a guy who was a favorite maybe drop a little, and it lets a guy who nobody expected rise a little, and then you kind of get like, oh my God, who's gonna move up into the next spot next week or a week after? So it would be cool to see Jackson just kind of go up each week like that. Baker Mayfield, look at Baker go. All right. And, of course, Jared Goff. I hope you guys appreciate the color selection on each team. That actually took a while, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I had to really play around and get all the colors right. But, all right. So you guys are wanting the top 9, right? The big dogs. All right.
Yes.
All right. Oh, I must have pissed somebody off.
The moment I said hit like, somebody was watching, and then they kept watching, but they hit dislike. Well, don't watch then. I don't know. There's always one dislike.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. So, you know what? Let's have a little fun with this. Okay? So for each pick, I'm going to give you guys 20 seconds to type who you think is next. Okay? And we'll see who gets it right. Who's number 9? And Milena, you let me know when that 20 seconds is up, and then I can, and I'll post it. So.
I gotta get that timer. Well, the first one will be a bit judgmental. Not exact.
So we got Jake Saunders says Ben Roethlisberger. Luke says Kyler Murray. Football baby.
Yeah.
I'm a little football baby. Milena loves her some Kyler Murray. She loves the football baby, don't you?
It's that cartoon.
Yeah, cartoon.
Movie. What? Animation.
Psycho Mantis says Jimmy G. Jimmy G actually was like 15th, so he's not in there. Salami Pizza says Brady, and Elliot Ravens Ray Lewis says Ben Roethlisberger. All good picks, guys, but guess what? All right. It's the stat whore. Bum, 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 bum. Ba, 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 ba. Drew Brees. Number 9. Because the Von Allen sports system says so. The stat whore. There it is. Now, I'm sure I've got some people who are not going to be happy about this. But again, it wasn't me. I'm not picking on your quarterback. The system said so. The system. Okay? Now, just to feel good about it, I ran this by some of the smartest people I know, and they gave it a thumbs up. Okay? So, and I did that in a time machine, actually. So, it was pretty cool.
Another countdown?
And again, that's the beauty of this. A guy could be positioned a little 1 or 2 up or down, but it works itself out. Because remember, at the end of the day, these kind of things are we give it a judgment. But if we could just input numbers and let their performance speak for it instead of all of our idiocy back and forth that we all do, and just let that happen. So that's what we've done here. So number 9 is Drew Brees, and we'll just bounce that over here.
Okay.
All right. Who's number 8, guys? You got 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Start.
This one's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what people are going to say about this.
20. Stop.
All right. So we've got Psycho Mantis says Josh Allen. Josh Allen having a good year. Luke says Murray, football baby. Salami Pizza says Ben. Elliot says it's got to be Roethlisberger. Anthony Preston says it's Matthew Stafford. Stafford actually already got a position in the teens, so he's already off the list. But yeah, Stafford already had a position. He was like 17th or something, I think. So you guys are not going to believe this, okay? And again, I looked in it. I said, how is this possible? How? And as you see the top 10 develop as we go farther deeper here, you'll see why. You'll actually see why. And guys, it's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. Forever and ever.
Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad man.
Yes.
Somebody said he was a bad man.
He's a bad man. Well, he is a bad man. He's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But
he's not the
again,
greatest.
it is about what you are doing for your team. How much are you doing in comparison to all of the other variables involved? Okay? I looked back into it. I even shocked myself. I said, how is this possible? How? I just see my bias said Aaron Rodgers is top 5, right? Came out as 8th. It's like, wait a minute. And like I said, just wait for it. You'll see why here in a second, and I'll explain it what happened here. But I looked deeper into the situation and I found it. What's happening is that he is not contributing to the team in high volume the way the other guys are. The other guys are just having more impact per play, per down, per drive, and then ultimately per game. Okay, so that's the deal.
So in this case, the eye test lies sometimes.
The eye test can lie. Yeah. The Bucs game that didn't do him any favors, but it wasn't just that. This is actually more to do. Okay, I'm being honest. It has more to do with lack of volume, and what that means is lack of contribution. Again, this is about what quarterback is being valuable to his team. Okay, it's not the guy with the best passer rating. It's not the guy with the best completion percentage. It is about the guy who is the most, who's contributing the most to his team right now. And if that is translating to positive things like victory, for example. And I was surprised by it. I was. But when I looked into it, I could start to see why. So it made sense. But see, this is the fun of it. It's got some surprises, right? So I was shocked too. I was like, whoa, what? Impossible. Of course, that's going to change big. That's going to change after this week. He's going to have a great game. He's going to go out there and he's going to skyrocket. Because, again, like I said, you'll see here. All right. Who's number 7? Go.
20 seconds. Stop. That's it, guys.
Is that
See
it?
what we got? Yeah. So,
All right.
people are saying Kyler Murray.
People think it's football, baby.
Yes.
I'm Kyler Murray. I'm a little football baby. So,
Psycho Mantis says it's Big Ben.
some random Patriots fan thinks Brady will be at 7. He thinks Brady. Raven says Kyler Murray is probably 7. If not him, definitely Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Some random Patriots fans changed it. He said, okay, Murray, Allen, or Big Ben, and I'm picking Murray again. Murray, Big Ben, I like his jersey number. Anthony Preston, that's a good point, actually. Tyree picked Josh Allen. And it is Big Ben Roethlisberger. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Ben ranking higher than Rodgers and Breeze this year. So far. Again, Ben is leading a 6-0 team. He is leading an undefeated team right now. He's got no losses against him, which means that every time he's made a mistake, okay? So all of his mistakes, there's not one game where his mistakes costed him to the maximum value, okay? Because, like I said before, if you throw a pick or if you lose a fumble, but you won the game that those occurred, the value is not as bad. It's not as count against you because at the end of the day, the point is winning that game, right? And it's that simple. He's not. Sorry about that. He's not had a loss, so there's been no negative maximum numbers. So he was able to bump all the way to 7, and that's the deal right now. So, Luke, you're going to be really shocked. Just watch. So you guys did pretty good with Big Ben. Anthony said like his number. That's exactly right. Well, so far we got Drew Brees doing that too. All right. I'm actually glad we decided to do this. I like showing you guys this live. It's pretty cool. All right. Who's number 6, guys? Ready? Go. Psycho Mantis says, what did I win? You get to be considered very smart.
Stop.
Okay. We've got a lot of Josh Allen's. Mahomes, Allen, Mahomes, Allen, or Patrick Mahomes. I think Josh Allen's number 6. And it is, drumroll,
Is it?
the football baby.
Oh.
At number 6.
Wow.
Little dude, Kyler Murray at number 6. What the hell? Okay. What the hell? Well, truth is, the dude has been playing great. Okay. He has been doing very well for his team. He accounts for so much of their points and their offensive output. The dude has, I think, 7 rushing touchdowns, okay? And remember, a touchdown is a touchdown. Doesn't matter how you got it. Again, this is not about style. It's about what you're doing and how it affects the team and how much of the outcome was because of you, directly because of you. And I was freaking out. So I was like, whoa. I expected Murray to be like 10th, or something. But there it is. Like I said, this is fun and very surprising. So, but then when you look into it, you're like, it makes sense. Okay. So, but look at the difference. Look at the difference between Kyler Murray and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very minimal.
Yeah, that could be something, that could be one category that's going to sway that in another direction.
Surprising.
All right. Who's number 5, guys? Come on. We're running out of guys.
20
So
seconds. Start.
I'm surprised there's a guy that I've not seen come up yet and everyone's overlooking. And again, remember, guys, winning is very important because if you win a game, your mistakes don't show through as badly. You have to keep that in mind, okay?
Oh, okay. It's lapsed a long time ago.
Ooh,
Sorry.
we have a $5 super chat from Trav Burnett. He says, can't watch Halloween with the kids. Oh, can't watch. I've got Halloween with the kids. Much love. Thank you, Trav. Absolutely. Have fun. Watch it later, Have a great time. Happy Halloween to you and your family, and tell them hope they have a good one. Thank you, Travis. Thank you for sending that and letting me know. You're a very good guy. Good guy. Rivers. No, Rivers was like 15th or something. He's already out of the pool. So. People started catching on when I said there's a guy y'all forgot about. Now here we go. Ricky says Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. Some random Patriots fan, did you put Tannehill up yet? No, I haven't. Luke says, oh, Tannehill. Tyree says Tannehill. Oh, yeah. Are they right?
Doing really well.
Are they right?
Mm-hmm. Should be.
Absolutely they are. Ryan Tannehill at number 5. And again, he's only 1 point over the football baby. So, one thing that I thought, when you think Titans, you think Derrick Henry, right? You think King Henry, and it makes you kind of overlook Ryan and kind of not give him the double take that you should, the like, okay, how good is he playing? There it is. He is a massive contributor to his team right now. So good for him. All right, guys, who's number 4? Come on. There's only 4 dudes left, so
20 seconds.
Yes, Tannehill is underrated right now. Absolutely. He just needed a better place. A better coach. Miami was no good for him. Are they out of time?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see who everybody went with. We got Josh Allen again. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. Luke says Brady. Anthony Preston says Allen. Salami Pizza says Tom. Elliot Ravens says Mahomes. And Ricky says, did you see Shannon Sharp say Brady was tied with Derrick Henry? Yes, we did. It was ridiculous. Come on, man. Well, now, before I show this, the next two, 4 and 3, are razor thin. Do you remember, Milena? I showed it to you. I said, look at these two. I mean, if one of the guys sneezes in the next game, if one of these next two guys sneezes in the wrong direction and then has an incompletion or something idiotic happens to them in a game, they're going to lose their spot, okay? That's how razor thin it is. Number 4 goes to my homeboy, as Shannon says, which I think's annoying, but yeah. And again, guys, keep in mind, this is not about carryover from last season. It's not about what you know from last year. Last year has no bearing on this whatsoever. Again, the formula does not know that any player played in a previous year. The formula doesn't even know that there was a history of the NFL. Has no clue. It only knows about right now, this season. And each game that we get closer and closer to the playoffs is determined how important they are to their team. Again, this is not about passer rating. It's not about QBR. It's about the overall picture. How valuable are you? For once, we're adding the word value and taking it literally. How valuable are you? Because every time we ever talk about MVP, it ends up never being about MVP. Most valuable is different than most yards or most touchdowns. It doesn't necessarily mean. Last year, Russell Wilson was the most valuable player. Russell Wilson was more important to the Seahawks than Lamar Jackson was to the Ravens, even though it's close. Okay, it was very close. But I still believe that Russell is more valuable to Seattle than Lamar was to Baltimore. But yet And Lamar got the job, or got the nod for MVP, rightfully so, based on their criteria. But this is our criteria, which is a little different. So, all right. So, number 3. Like I said, is very, very close to Mahomes. You got 20 seconds. There's 3 guys left. The 3 guys are Allen, Brady, and Russell Wilson.
Start. 20 seconds.
You guys have to keep in mind, this is not my opinion. This is, after weighing the numbers, I used this model against last year, 2018 and 2017. and they all came up with a list that made sense. It even down to the placements of where they should have been back then. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, I was like, wow. Yeah. So, very confident in this.
Okay, stop.
Anthony Preston says Wilson will sneeze up a pick.
Yeah. Okay. Time's up.
Time is up.
Let's see. who
Number
gets
3
it.
is the GOAT. Unbelievable. 43-year-old man. When I compiled the list, I had Tom about 5th. I thought he deserved to be top 5 based on just, how well he's been doing and stuff and how important he is to the team. But again, I didn't consider when I thought that myself. That was just me thinking that. But then when I looked into it, he's actually playing slightly better overall and more impactful. Okay, again, he's more impactful on the Bucs than Mahomes is for the Chiefs. Look at the differential, guys. Mahomes, 47.697. Brady, 47.764. That you couldn't, that's just, in the formula, that's nothing. It's so small. It's so small. It's crazy. Any little thing. The battle for this spot is so small based off of what happens tomorrow. Now Mahomes gets the Jets, okay? And if things stay true, he will probably annihilate them, okay? And, of course, Brady's got the Giants, but I still think the Jets are probably a little worse than the Giants are. This will determine that spot. And so this is a big deal. And if Tannehill has a big game, that could change things too. Of course, Murray, he's got a bye week, so that's not going to matter to him. Roethlisberger's screwed. He's got the Ravens to contend with, so that's going to hurt him. So Green Bay, they got a decent matchup there. Wait, do they? Green Bay? Who's Green Bay playing? Are they playing Minnesota or Chicago? Okay. Minnesota. They're playing. Oh, okay. So yeah, Rodgers could have a big day too. So. All right. There's only 2 guys left. It's either Russell Wilson or it's either Josh Allen. Can you believe that? Josh Allen is in the top 2. Russell Wilson in the top 2, just like we had all think. Luke says this list is stressing me out. Good. It should. That's what it's supposed to do. Because what this shows is that what we think we see, what we believe we know, isn't always the truth. It isn't always the reality of the situation. It's not always it's how impactful the guy is for his team. Is he taking the team on his back and doing everything possible? How involved is he? I keep repeating that just to let you guys understand that this is not like normal list. It's not based off solid, just bulk numbers, because those numbers are impaired. They're impaired by garbage time. They're impaired by all kinds of random occurrences. So,
yeah, it's different than all-time greatest or anything.
Again, this has nothing to do with who they are. The list doesn't know that Tom Brady's got 6 rings. Has no idea. It doesn't know that Lamar Jackson was the MVP last year. Doesn't know. Has no bearing on anything. It looks like everyone's going with Josh Allen, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they'd be right. It's Josh Allen. Holy crap. Josh Allen is the second most valuable quarterback right now. Unbelievable. How? How the hell did this happen? I looked. I had to find out. I mean, I'm watching this guy throw the ball into the ground. I'm watching him throw it randomly around people and stuff. How is this possible? Well, I looked a little closer. What I discovered is it's the relationship between him and each play that he's involved in. It's him having so many plays that he actually did himself. Because you guys remember, I gave more points for a quarterback who did the work himself versus work that was done on his behalf. Okay? It's also about who you played, where you played. Are you playing in a tough environment? Are you playing outside versus inside? So your opponent matters. All of these things go into play there. Again, I was surprised myself, but I swear I was happy. I was like, this is good. This is a good surprise. This was interesting. So, yep. Now, could I have gone into my formula and manipulated it over time? I guess I could have fooled around with it and screwed around with it, and so I could present a list that sounds exactly correct, but then it wouldn't be honest. Okay? The list needs to be honest. It needs to be based on what I believe is important and what we see as a contribution to their team. Right. And if it says Josh Allen is second as far as being most important to his team as a quarterback, then he's second. And of course, the king right now is Russell Wilson. And the thing about Russell Wilson is that I think he's number one on any list. His lead is so substantial, okay? 52. Now, as you guys have probably noticed, one whole number, okay, is a big lead in this. It's a good, solid lead, right? He's almost 3 whole points ahead, so. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Okay. So I wasn't surprised to see that. And the dude had 3 interceptions the other night, including, and he also has a pick 6. But again, his other interceptions, they didn't contribute to him negatively when he won the game, in the games he won. So that's a factor. That's a big factor. It's kind of happened for Ben too, Ben Roethlisberger. That helped him quite a bit actually. So, and don't fumble the ball. You fumble away the ball, it's gonna kill you. It's gonna kill because that means that you gave away a possession. That's killing your team, man. But if you win the game, it's okay. So there it is. That is for this week, okay, or this last week. That just for this last week. Up to this point, this will change. Every week it will change. So basically what's going to happen, here's the plan. After Monday night's game, on Tuesday, the stats, every relevant stat I need should be compiled. Pro Football References, I rely on them for almost all of these stats. And there's other websites I use, like for penalties, I use NFLpenalties.com. For some other stats like aggressiveness, how aggressive a quarterback is, and things like that. I use Next Generation Stats, which is the NFL website. But all of these websites have to publish the updated stats before I can give an accurate score. So I will publish these on Wednesdays. So each Wednesday, the list will come out. And what I'm hoping, guys, is if y'all do me a favor, is from now on, when I publish the list, and I'll publish it I'll publish it as a video, but along with the video, we'll have a graphic. If you guys could take that graphic and promote it, like post it, tweet it, post it in other sports groups and things like that. Get it if we can get it some traction. Maybe people will start to see it and go, "This is interesting. I wonder how this happened." You know, so that would be great. I mean, think about it. We're the beginning. I mean, it all started with us. You know, here we are, all of us, and how cool would that be if that was used? So. Oh wow, thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. That makes me feel good. I put so much work into this. Oh man, it's been crazy. Thank you, Luke. He says thanks for your hard work, VAS. I appreciate it, man. I don't know if Israel's talking to me or not, but he says you are probably the greatest football fan of all time.
True.
I love football. I don't remember a time I wasn't watching football. Seriously.
Since you were little, right?
As far as I know, as long as my dad had it on TV and I could see it, again, I can't remember a time I didn't know about football. So, yep. But the excitement that was generated from the list when I was waiting for the outcome, I was like, okay, who's gonna be the top 9? Who's gonna be at the top? And to see Brady be 3, because I thought Brady was gonna be 5 or 6. To see him go 3 and he barely beat Mahomes too. Of all people, it was Mahomes. I mean, who the hell? And it was so small. It's nothing. It's nothing. If Mahomes just had a few more completions, or not incompletions, if he just completed the ball a few more times, or I don't know that that's the differential. I'm just saying, for example, just that small little detail could be the difference between being top 3 and top 4. And that's a big deal. But Josh Allen, can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's just, but this is the great thing about it. It removes our biases and what we think. Because these guys get on First Take and they get on, like Nick Wright. He's got how the hell did this guy get his own show? But anyway, he gets his own show because Chris Carter quit and Chris Carter was the only guy checking him, by the way. But he gets on his show and he talks. He just sounds like the typical regular dude that thinks they know everything, and their guy is the guy. And would I love to say that Tom Brady is number 1 and the MVP right now? Of course I would love to say that, but he's not. Russell Wilson is clearly, every per game basis, is at a higher level right now. Right now. That could change, of course, each week. But Allen really, really shocked me. And again, I went back and looked into Allen's situation, and it had a lot to do with his involvement, directly involved with the outcome of the games. He is having that much of an impact. So we watch the games and we don't see it. Okay, we've got Josh Allen in Buffalo. Who cares about Buffalo? Who cares about Josh Allen? He's not even known. We don't even know the guy as a pocket passer. We don't think of him as a field general in a sense. We don't give him that kind of regard. So we overlook him. But then when you looked under the microscope and you looked at the details in every single facet of the game, you find out, holy crap, this guy is literally got his hands in every aspect of the game. And he's contributing that much. It's crazy. And keep in mind, he ain't got some great offensive mind. He's not got Sean Payton coaching him or Andy Reid. And that's not a shot at the Sean McDermott and the Bills coaching staff. But McDermott's a defensive guy. Okay? So Josh Allen is able to do this. He's not the most accurate quarterback out there. But he found a way to make it work. He found a way to make it happen. And this isn't the first time we've seen this. We've watched plenty of guys who win MVP who aren't known as throwers, who are known as just facilitators or guys who put the team on their back and physically will themselves to a victory. And that right there, Josh Allen is the epitome of that. He is the embodiment of that concept of I am involved in every aspect. This team is winning because of me. And the formula says that Josh Allen is the number 2 reason why his team is winning in all of the NFL. Good for him.
Yeah, and that is the definition of an MVP again. Back to that, I feel like sometimes people forget that. What does it really mean?
Yeah.
You know, to be an MVP, the relation to your team, stats in context of winning, and bring your team together with every stat, you know, moving forward towards the goal, not just your personal goal of scoring that many yards, you know, adding that many stats to your own, you know, count. Yeah.
Am I selling this pretty good, guys? Because I think this is I'm working on my sales pitch. You know, like Israel just said, if I could get in front of Roger Goodell, if I could get in front of the commission, or even if I could talk to Pro Football Reference, if they included it in their list of in their evaluations, that would be a big step right there. That would be huge, you know. But over the year, I'm going to fine tune it. Okay, so over the year, I'll see patterns that look like maybe they need to be tweaked here and there, and that's normal. Okay, the QBR stat that ESPN developed, that thing was in development for 3 years. So for 3 years, while it was being done in real time, they kept adjusting certain things. Now, I'm not saying we're going to do that. I may have the exact formula that it need to be, but maybe we see some trends that I didn't account for, I didn't think of, or maybe that everyone, a consensus would agree that maybe I need to weigh something a little less, more or less. This happened with passer rating in the 1950s. They kept tweaking passer rating. It took them years to get that right. And then even QBR, which came out in 2006, it took them until 2009 to actually have the formula that we have now. But I will say this, the formula will not be tweaked at all after the season. So any tampering, any movement or adjustments or additions will have to be done this season. And I don't even know if there's going to be, but you never know. I don't want to say never. But yeah. Someone asked me a question though about Brady. Where was that? There it is, Luke. Luke asked, why was Brady ranked this high? Curious about some of the details, if you're willing to expound on those a bit. Absolutely, and it's a great question. I'm glad you asked that because I couldn't figure it out either. I was like, wait, Brady's thrown 2 pick sixes this year. And they started up the season and it was kind of bad, right? But then we see an improvement over time.
Wasn't he also ranked for best player?
What was that?
He was also wasn't he also ranked for the month of October for best player of yes.
Yeah, he was absolutely.
And certainly in the beginning, you know, the first couple of weeks, he was adjusting to the new team and
right.
everything, and then picked up. So he's really climbed up recently, yeah.
Yeah. Now, while of course that there is no stat for getting NFC offensive player of the month, but you get that because you're playing well. Brady, of course, got that because he was the best quarterback in the NFC, even above Wilson, and who's number 1. So
So that kind of checks with your list, you know.
It makes sense.
Makes sense.
Thank you for saying that, because I didn't even think about that, actually.
Yeah.
But that's a very good point, Milena, actually. Yeah, so that gives you some kind of an idea. But for more clarity, I think that what you're asking for mainly is what specifically would cause this. And I had the same question. I go and look in it, and what I found was this: huge volume of completions, huge volume of yards. But it wasn't just yards. Because, like I said, yards aren't the whole thing. In this, it was air yards, but it was big plays. Okay, so Tom was having big plays over 20 yards, plays over 40 yards. Okay, these are huge chunk plays that were directly from his involvement, and those add up. First downs. The no penalties in last week's game, I think, helped him quite a bit, even though, which was weird. Thank God for him that happened, because the penalties before that were stacking up against him. But no penalties really, really helped him kind of reset that. And they did really well again last week. But 2 pick sixes, well, one of them didn't attribute because they won. So, like I said, if you win, it doesn't matter. It's not that relevant at all, because you got the win. And at the end of the day, the quarterback's job is to win. So that was a factor, although I don't know how much of a factor it played in. But it's something. I'm just trying to point out the things. Also, the balance of who they played, what he was playing, and again, did he impact that specific play? And that goes back to how Josh Allen got second. But I was very surprised that Brady got 3. But remember, Brady really is number 4 too. Okay, he's 3 or 4, because I mean, the smallest thing could have made Mahomes 3 and Brady 4, so it makes sense. But honestly, I didn't think I haven't been that impressed by Mahomes. You know, if it said that Tannehill was higher than Brady and Mahomes, I wouldn't be shocked. You know, I go ahead.
Yeah, even Mahomes. I mean, I was just thinking about the last couple of games. I believe his, his QBR was down. It was really like 500 and I don't know, 60 something.
You mean 56?
I mean 56.
His QBR was that low, really?
Well, yeah.
Damn.
It was kind of low what they're saying in the most recent games. So no, that's.
Yeah, I mean, I that makes sense. I mean, I haven't seen. I haven't been that impressed. Of course, he's playing great. Of course, he's in the top. That's not. I'm not questioning that. But I was just surprised that him and Brady both were 3 and 4. I didn't really think that was going to happen. The biggest surprise on this list, it's not even Josh Allen. It's Rodgers at 8. How the hell did Rodgers get 8? How is that possible? And like I said, when I looked into the situation, it's a lack of contribution. So yeah, he's contributing, but he's not contributing every play. He is not directly impacting every play on every down and every victory the way these other guys are. And that's where he's lacking in that area. But of course, that's all going to change as we move forward. Also, games played. So you have to consider that some quarterbacks, and that's a big one actually. I forgot to mention that, because remember, this is an end of the year award. This is most valuable quarterback. So this is a power ranking. It moves up and down. So maybe a guy who's played 7 games has more attempts, more completions, more yards, and then he got the victory, and he's got that victory weighted for him in his favor. Mahomes has 1 game less than Brady, so that I think he does. That might not be right.
Yeah, I think so.
But in any case, if you have a game, 1 game less, that could help you or hurt you. depending on if your game was crappy or if you had a great game. So again, you've got to consider that, but it's a fluid formula. It's constantly moving each week, and the main point is to see who is most valuable at the end of the year. And by the time we get to the end of the year, everyone had played a certain amount of games and enough games to qualify on the list. So it works itself out in the end. It's just like, think about it the way we do team power rankings. You guys see, every week we see teams move up and down in the power rankings, and teams that were on bye, even though they didn't even play, they end up getting bumped down or bumped up for whatever reason. And we just go with that, you know. And this is kind of a similar concept. So, but once we get past week 12, I think week 12 is the last bye for this season. I'm not sure, but maybe it is. With the few exceptions, I think, of reschedules, or if there will be, then it would work itself out. So then we'd get a better picture. So, but I love it, guys. I'm really happy with it. I'm very proud of this, and I was really happy to get to show you guys. You guys beat the first one. This channel is going places, guys. I know we've been stagnated at almost 11,000 subscribers, and that's because with all the situation with COVID and everything, and I was going to school here, and all of that was kind of crashing together. And the movement of Tom leaving Patriots, that kind of threw things for a loop. And then we had the question marks. Is there going to be a season or not? There was so much uncertainty and everything going crazy that I just kind of got behind on video production and things like that. But we're going to get back in the swing of things, and there's been an uptick lately. It looks like YouTube is blessing the channel again and giving it a little bit of room. Not much, but it's giving it a little bit of acceleration here. So we're going to try to capitalize on that with new episodes. So new Brady hate, new basement butt hurt. And again, I keep saying this, and I promise it's coming, but we have a new series that we're going to introduce to you guys soon. And I think you're going to love it.
Yeah.
But
and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the like button for this video or any of our videos that you like. And we'll hope to see you here in the chat room, or if you're taking calls next time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and one more thing, I think Luke might have mentioned too. Yeah, yards after the catch, exactly. So some of these quarterbacks are getting a lot of yards after the catch and some are not. Brady is got way more air yards. And isn't that ironic? Think about this. The system quarterback, the guy who can't throw. Remember Max Kellerman? Tom Brady's got a noodle for an arm. Tom Brady's arm is a wet noodle. He has more air yard big plays than anybody in the league right now. What? He's second in air yards, guys. The old man, the wet noodle arm guy. It's unbelievable. Oh, yes, some random Patriots fans. Spygate and Deflategate, absolutely. If you guys watched Bountygate, that is kind of that was my introduction into the other two. It was kind of me kind of working on a style for that. And so Bountygate was the kind of me just trying to see how these documentaries would play out. So yeah, exactly, Luke. I thought Brady was captain check down. That's what the experts told us. That's what they said. That's what Kellerman said. That's what all the fans, Brady hating fans say. Oh, check down, check down. And like I always say, guys, any person who says system quarterback as negative or check down as negative don't know what they're talking about. Any football fan who knows quarterback and knows the position and knows football, if you really know your stuff, you would never say that. You would never say that a quarterback is bad because he checks down, or he's bad because he's a system quarterback. All right? And keep in mind, I don't benefit from saying that because Tom Brady is neither. Okay? The people who benefit from me saying that are quarterbacks who are much lesser, or not thought of in that regard, the way we think of Brady and Rodgers and Mahomes and guys like that. It helps other guys. One guy I resented that being applied to was Alex Smith. I absolutely hated it when people did that to Alex Smith. Even Trent Dilfer, okay? Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. Do you know what Trent Dilfer had to do to get that? He didn't have to be Dan Marino. He didn't have to be Peyton Manning out there slinging the football around, okay? For millions of yards, all right? That is not what he's about, okay? That was never his job. His job was to let his amazing Ravens defense get them where they need to be. They told him, Trent, just don't put us in a hole. Just get us 17, 18 points. And that, guys, that's not asking a whole lot. To tell an NFL quarterback that all he's got to do is put up that kind of, and they basically virtually got the win. And even sometimes that defense even contributed to the scoreboard. But they tell him, just don't screw it up. Okay? So you got a quarterback, just don't screw it up. And people crap on these guys. They crap on them. They crap on Trent Dilfer, and they crap on Brad Johnson with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and winning the Super Bowl with them. Why do you do that? Like, dude, ask Jim Kelly if he'd rather have all of his stats in all 4 of those Super Bowl losses, or if he'd rather have 1 Super Bowl win with mediocre stat line. And everyone says, oh, well, in that Super Bowl, he was a system quarterback, or he was a check down, or he was, just along for the ride. What good did all those stats do for Jim Kelly? What good did it do him in the long run? It got him in the Hall of Fame, but honestly, I'm not even sure, he didn't play all that long. I mean, he compared to the other guys, but he'll be the first to tell you he would love to have that ring. And then you've got guys like Dan Marino. While I would say that Dan is the exception. Okay, Dan is the one guy that's his stats and his career is so colossal. It is so freaking amazing that it kind of overshadows and makes you forget about the lack of rings. So he's able to get into the top 7, top 6 conversation just without a Super Bowl ring. Think about how hard that would be. If Marino had 2 or 3 rings, oh my God, just it would be crazy. And again, nobody's saying that Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson and Jeff Hostetler and guys like that are the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. Of course not. Nobody's saying that. But they got the job done. Even Eli Manning. Eli Manning made the plays. Okay? Everyone talks about the helmet catch in the Super Bowl 42. But Eli had to make the play after that to Plaxico Burress. He had to make sure he was in the right call, make sure it was the right play, and throw it. And everyone says, oh, that was an easy. Well, that was a breakdown of the defense as well. The point is he still had to do it. The point is that he had to last the whole game without doing something devastatingly awful, like throwing a pick six. Okay? Even the great Kurt Warner threw a pick six against the Patriots. But Eli didn't do that. And that we know now that would have changed everything. Eli didn't have any colossal failures in that game. The helmet catch, actually, Eli kept fighting. He stayed up. Yeah, he closed his eyes and just threw the ball as far as he could. Okay. But he still had to survive that sequence. And again, I'm not saying that puts him in the Hall of Fame or anything. That's not the deal. But there's value there. And it's just what I don't like is this crapping on quarterbacks just because they're not throwing behind the back passes and they're not, running around for hundreds of yards and they're not throwing the ball 50 yards on the field on every down. There's value in different places, okay? There's value everywhere, and each quarterback is different. And his situation is unique. You take what your team allows you. You take what your team will give you. We saw that in Super Bowl 36 with Brady. Brady was still coming to his own into his own as a player. And he knew, just don't screw up. He's like, okay, Tom, don't screw this up. If I just play my game, take what the defense gives me, okay? Just do my job. This team can win a Super Bowl. We can beat the greatest show on turf. We can beat the Rams. Ty Law, his buddy Ty Law, got him a pick six. That helped, obviously. Tom had that great throw into the end zone for a touchdown pass. At the very end, he got Adam Vinatieri in field goal range. Nobody thought that was right. You had John Madden go, I wouldn't do that. This is very stupid. The Patriots Tom Brady should down the ball and play for overtime. I don't agree with this. But then Tom Brady just didn't make any mistakes, didn't do any stupid throws. He took what they gave him. And he got the MVP for that. But he wasn't out there throwing for 500 yards, guys. He did that. He threw for 505 yards. And they lost. So, enough with this crapping on quarterbacks. The dude, if you win, you get the ring, you deserve it. Okay? Yeah, the 2011 Super Bowl, the Giants were the better team. I don't really hold a lot of anger towards that one. The one, I was happy that we were in the Super Bowl. Okay, first of all, how the hell did we get away with that Baltimore game? It's like crazy. We should have lost that game. And then we get into the Giants. Atrocious defense. Tom Brady is the man, takes the 31st worst defense in the league to the Super Bowl. And it still comes down to the wire. But Eli made that play. He made that play to Manningham and got the job done. That's it. That's how it works. Super Bowl 42 was devastating because of the perfect season, 19-0. And now we know from a historical standpoint, we know what it cost us. That game didn't just cost us a perfect season. It costed us Tom Brady for 2008. And you could even argue it costed us Tom Brady for 2009 because that season was very weird and he was still trying to get back and get acclimated to being back to the way he used to be. And of course, in 2010, he wins the MVP. But we win that Super Bowl in 2007. If we win Super Bowl 42, then the schedule changes. So in 2008, we opened up the schedule. We opened up the 2008 season at home, showing off our new trophy. It's going to be on a Thursday night, and it's going to be against a different opponent. It will not be against Kansas City. And of course, the Kansas City game is when Tom's leg got taken out by Bernard Pollard. So that Super Bowl costed us way more than we could have ever imagined at the time. But Super Bowl 52. Super Bowl 52 is the one that pisses me off. It actually angers me because it's so ridiculous. That game, if a Super Bowl was ever supposed to be won easily, not only should we have won that, we should have won it quite easily, actually. I mean, the defense, the way it was done, and just the lack of, it seemed, any kind of coaching alterations. It was just so weird. When your quarterback throws for 505 yards, has no interceptions, 3 touchdowns, I believe he had, you don't win the game. That is a travesty. And that's what makes me mad about that game. But with that said, Nick Foles won. Nick Foles got the Super Bowl MVP. So he's the man that day. He's the man. So, but that Super Bowl pisses me off. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that if so in 2007, if they won that Super Bowl, they went up. So Brady to Moss put them up. And that should have been the game-winning drive, let's say, okay? Then Brady probably gets MVP of the Super Bowl. He would have been the first person to win regular season MVP, and Super Bowl MVP in the same year since Kurt Warner did it in 99. And that record still today holds. But in 2008, there is no doubt in my mind that he would go for another MVP that year. So there was so much that was lost. It's really, really sucks. Oh, never. I mean, 2010, such a disappointment. That team was good. Oh my God. That team was ready. Losing to the Jets. Oh my God. Just absolute ridiculous. But you know, those teams that Brady took, like the 2012 Patriots. What the hell were we doing in the AFC Championship game? 2013. Really? 2013. Do you guys remember what Tom was working with back then? Do you remember? Just, what a joke. What a joke. There we were, back in the AFC Championship game again. Unbelievable. 2014, I think 2014 is arguably the best team, the Patriots. In the Belichick Brady era, that was probably the most stacked team overall, as far as just star power and just awesome. I'm not sure if I'd say it is the best, but it's definitely up there in the tops. But that was a great team. 2014 was a great team. 2016, when you lose Rob Gronkowski, you think that's the end of the world. Okay? That should be the end of the world. That should be the end for anybody. Imagine if Patrick Mahomes lost Travis Kelce right now. Okay? But no, they get back to the Super Bowl and they win without Gronk. Without Gronk. It's amazing stuff, guys. It's really amazing stuff. We had it good, so. And hopefully next year we'll get the ship will get righted and we'll have some more great moments. So we'll find out. Yeah, exactly. That 2013 roster was atrocious, absolute garbage. But there they were back in the AFC Championship game and completely outmatched by that Denver Broncos team. Okay? Guys, that was the record-setting Denver Broncos team. And we barely, okay, I'm not going to say we barely lost. That was a pretty damn good ass whipping. But if you remember, the turn of the tide was when Wes Welker cheap shot at Aqib Talib, and then we lost him. And then everything kind of like spun out of control there. But no business being in that game. No business getting that far. It's just Brady made something out of absolute nothing. Absolutely nothing. So in 2015, wow. 2015, that thing came down to all because of a missed extra point. And it sucks, too, because I think that Patriots team would have killed the Panthers that year. I think they would have been a terrible matchup for Carolina. Oh, 2013 was so fascinating. There were so many big comebacks in that season. I remember, of course, the Saints game, the amazing throw to Ken Tompkins, and we weren't even supposed to be in that situation. We weren't supposed to be able to do that because the game looked like it was over. They pick off Brady. He was throwing the ball to Edelman, and it was a terrible throw, terrible decision, and it gets picked off. And the Saints players are on the sidelines, and they've got the ball, and they're celebrating with the ball. I think they won. And then everything goes wrong for them. They decide to pass on third down. Drew Brees goes back, and Chandler Jones gets to Drew Brees, barely gets to him. And not only does that get the ball back, but the Saints are like, oh my God, what the hell's going on here? We thought we had the game wrapped up. Patriots fans were leaving. Half the stadium was empty. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And Tom throws that beautiful ball to Kimbrell Tompkins. Kimbrell, who? Who is this guy? And that was that year. That was the year of who are these people? Aaron Dobson. Austin Collie. Who the hell called these guys? And it's just... And then I remember there was a game against Houston, I think, came down. It was like a big down-to-the-wire game. And then Cleveland. I remember Josh Gordon, torching us. And we lost Gronk that game. That he was lost for the year. And that one, that sucked. But we got the onside kick. Gostkowski did a great onside kick. It was perfect. And came back and won that game. So that was an interesting season. Very weird, very strange. So yeah. Yeah, I wasn't really too concerned with the Panthers' defense had Tom gotten past the Denver defense. It was more, I think, that our defense was probably more of a mismatch for the Carolina offense in that way. That's kind of what I was more thinking about. But yeah, it would have been a good game probably, but I think we could have won that one. Oh yeah, the 17-0 Miami comeback up. That was great too. All right, guys. Well, I'm talked out. Yeah, 2017 was great. I hate the way that ended. That Eagles game was atrocious, but the Jaguars game, that was badass, wasn't it? So playing with a gashed hand. Luke asked me, what does Gematria have to say about those quarterback rankings and the corresponding numbers? I don't know. Maybe we should ask that one crazy dude. Scary, huh? I wonder what they mean. I want to thank Milena for getting us these costumes, and I can't wait to get out of this. I'm never gonna wear communist stuff again. It was Halloween. We thought it'd be funny, and we had easy access to this crap here in Bulgaria, of course. But thank her for going out and getting and finding all this stuff. And I thought it was hilarious how she did the whole Eastern European girl, like the stereotype that we have for them, and the big, gigantic, ridiculous boobs and the ridiculous makeup and everything. It was funny. I thought that was pretty good. But thank you to Dwayne for calling in for tonight's special. That was a lot of fun. And no, that wasn't scripted. I saw someone asked about that. That was not scripted. We were just going with the flow. But that's my brother. So we were just having fun, having a good time. But yeah. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that, man. So it was a fun night. I really enjoyed tonight. But my voice is about to go, and I'm going to have to do it tomorrow night, post-game show tomorrow night and Monday night. And Tuesday we have the election, so don't forget to vote if you haven't already. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow night after the Pats game, okay? That will be the show with me and Shaq, of course. So, till then, guys, thank you so much. Bye.